Kamek Sheriff though, yeah, there you go. It's the expected outcome. It will be a second for FUT.
Yeah, mates just running themselves into the ground a little bit there. As I said before, I've actually been fairly impressed with some of the defender-sided calls that we've seen from Mini so far. To flesh out that point I mentioned earlier, his time spent on Enterprise, he was the IGL there in Challengers, his main stint in Tier 2. He resided over Benji at that point in time. You know, the guy has skin in the game. It's more in the mid-round, I think, where we had been a little bit concerned, and when we flip over to that attack side. But for now, you can see his performance isn't hindered either.
But remember, he also IGL'd the team to second in East back, all the way back in Tier 2.
He did, but that's not going to count for much here as Click again has tried to make an opening duel happen for himself. 7 and 18 in terms of those first engagements versus Liquid. It's a stat that he'll be wanting to rid of, and well, that doesn't have looked to have changed so far.
He's trying to flood out into backside A just in case that hit was coming through at the same time though. Kada's going to wander.
We're in the coal mine, but in terms of information, it's just Atta on the extremity yet again playing a traditional lurk role as the rest of FUT creep closer. This contact piece has scaled quite far up, and now they will be without that Viper when the execute comes through. No smokes.
Yeah, FUT may feel as if their hand has been forced here as well. At the same time, they're still trying to come through, but it doesn't work out. Mate's creating a little bit of chaos, but Zeus, well, he's trying to be the lone one on top of 410, making it work. The rifles of FUT hitting, and now it's just the late luck of Kada that has to rescue this round.
You expect this position as well, Kada in behind. Zeus is holding from top 410, is a fairly laboured duel, but Cracks can haul them over the line. So with FUT now having a third round under their belt and the bye broken of Gentlemates, things are looking on the up for them.
Yeah, it is looking on the up for FUT, and this is something that we're going to have to keep a tab on if mates can get their economy under control, because on the defence, very difficult to do so. You don't have that extra economy from the spike plants, etc.
It's a big round from Zeus as well. That head-to-head between him and Click, not something that we've spoken about all too much so far. But you're talking about a player who has highest ACS, or did until the floor show took place last night, in the league. Same stat which he had in Turkey the year before.
Something for this round. I know we saw BBL using a lot of the ultimates on ecos, but mates do have things to work with here, right? You're looking at that lockdown, you're looking at the annihilation. If Gentlemates can put themselves in a position where they can try and capitalise, force players back, you look at that B long, it can be very difficult to hold from there, right? Quick peek out confirms what FUT are up to. Mr. Fallen will be the one to get the pick. FUT's annihilation, though, is the one that's going to be used.
Yeah, it's a small win for mates in this position, right? Trying to bait out any kind of ultimates that they possibly can. Still a couple left in the war chest for FUT at this point in time. It's Cracks and Atta Captain that will be looking to try and build towards theirs in terms of player positions, though. Here's Cracks furthest out towards yellow.
Like, just saved it. Going forward, is able to get one, but I mean, that's all it's realistically going to be when you look at FUT's rifles, the way they're playing off one another. Excellently done. That will be 4.
And after that initial blip that we saw in the pistol round, and it being the one which mates have been able to post so far, the spacing is looking a lot better for FUT, and I think that's something that we've got to be thinking about. When we talk of the player change and what it is that Zeus brings to the table, different to CNED, as we've had him on the desk here as well. He plays with a rifle in his hands. He's amongst the pack. It helps support players like Cracks that you're seeing on the KO, on the Fade, that have that clearing utility, that are close next to you. That's a discussion we'll get into in a little bit, I think, on his behalf. But yeah, Zeus is very well integrated into this team already, and with that timing kickoff under their belt, you can see the improvements that they've made.
Right now, coaching staff for Gentlemates wanting to stop things and have a chat, because realistically, when we look at the rounds and how they've gone, the only round that Gentlemates have won has technically been a clutch, right, when you think about it. And
yeah,
it's that pistol round.
Yeah, it's just individual heroics, things like this. Something to keep tabs on at this point in time. Goked leading the charge in terms of the discussions in the timeout. We know that Mini, in terms of what his position is as the in-game leader, it is the sort of the pre-round calls. We're keeping a closer eye on the mid-round. He's become a lot more vocal since Robbie BK's departure. It was an idea that they've been flirting with up until that point anyway, but now having fully committed to it, I think the importance here as well is just, is there any preparation that they can go off? Because for as much as we lauded Gentlemates having brilliant anti, we haven't seen FUT play this map since, the international national stage last year?
No, I think we saw them play it in the off-season.
The off-season,
Yeah,
but for VCT, I think the last result is best left, if you remember the result.
Exactly, mate, exactly. Well, as for this round, we look towards A as the initial bout goes off. Zeus already up, and well, there's at least 3 players here for Gentlemates.
That toxic screen up, they've just been looking to play behind it. Hunter's Fury coming in, Armageddon the way back. They're fighting forwards here, Gentlemates, and it's working out. Zipan on the tail yet again, starting to already feel quite familiar for him. But closing that gap, getting the space back towards Maze. They can't move any further than the brackets before Zipan gets his second, and Click puts his foot down. Finally, Maze retaliating with some proactive defense. Foot falling flat, in zone flawless.
Magic stuff, brilliantly played by Mates. Just felt as if Foot were maybe caught by their own pace in there. You saw it like trying to ult through, create a little bit of chaos, and it was Mates that were thriving in it. As for Foot, they just didn't really get a grasp of where the positioning was of certain players. They would look away, you can see right now. Oh, it's a lovely...
Saturate.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
All good. I do really like this from Gentlemates, though, staying proactive, and I think this is something that we will have to critique Foot for when you're running triple initiator. We saw the issues with it from BBL yesterday. If you're not making the most of that clearing utility, it comes in cycles. You have plenty of signatures in there, such as the 0 point, for example, that KO knife. You want to be using that off rip and then seeing where you can find value for it then later in the round.
I think as well, though, when you look at Foot's composition and what they're running with the triple initiator, this is obviously going to be their best half in terms of they can be oppressive with their utility, the clearing, etc. But when they move on to this defense, is that lack of a sentinel going to be an issue?
That's the question, right? You're kind of wondering, do they play heavier for retake? Are they getting aggressive? Are you putting Zeus in dangerous positions? Is that what the setup is? Because when I think of Gentlemates, for example, and how they play, you would assume that it was centered around Click, and while we do have a brief intermission here with a tech pause, I think it's nice to reopen a discussion that was being had late last year, over on Twitter by JT. I mean, he started it as the analyst for Gentlemates now. He was with Heroic Valkyries at the time, just talking about the kind of system that was being run on SK with Click and how much value you can get from a player like him.
Yeah, I mean, when you think towards his position in Tier 2 and the ceiling that he was able to reach performance-wise, he really was the hyper carry. And I think for now, and especially when you see how Click is playing the Whaley, it is very much gaining ground, right? Clearing the space.
Yeah, he was in the top percentile last year for first engagements, and that won SK half a round on average more than any other team in Tier 2 and above. So that's the reason why Click got picked up. He can have those moments, but the big, point that centered off that was that it can take a lot of resources to try and set that up sometimes. Whereas here, in this version of Gentlemates, like you already said, he doesn't feel like a player that you're relying on to throw a boatload of utility at. He is just creating the space for the rest of his team off the back of his own play.
Yeah, Foot going for a timeout here. Obviously, the last round not going as well as it possibly could. Gentlemates doing really well at being proactive on the defense and using ultimates to create effect. So after Gentlemates have made their changes, Foot are going to make theirs now.
Just wondering here, I guess, as well, how Mini wants to try and use the lockdown at any point in time. You're getting close to a pit as well. Ultimates which you can control areas of the map pretty decisively, and with Atta still having his own pit, right, that is the logical counter that you would think of.
Another thing though, right, if you are Foot, it cracks close to his null command, that could be an easy way to get yourself in towards sites and stop any of those sort of ultimates coming online, and then maybe create a further plan, taking more space towards screens, for instance, where that lockdown would usually go down.
And to just then bring that back to the game state, we're coming into a big ult cycle, ladies and gents, if you couldn't tell. These next couple of rounds could decide how the rest of the half ends up looking, whether Foot can stay in front, because that's what they're trying to aim and do right now. Zeus leading the line, top side B.
Already taking that space, although Krax has been left towards mid, and it's going to confirm an advantage for Foot. Spike goes down. What does the post plant look like?
They are very restricted right now, and the pit's just going to fall immediately. Mini still holding on to the lockdown, doesn't need it. His second kill already before Yetijay is forced to face the music. He'll get one, but that's not enough. So much more that mates were able to do, completely constricting Foot.
Mini looks like a superstar every time we see him in a game, map to map. As an IGL as well, the responsibility that he holds, not just because of the calling, but just performance-wise as well.
Yeah, and when you then begin to draw that comparison between him and Mr. Fallen on the other side for FUT, a player who, you know, has also gone through the same kind of process as Mini, where he was regarded one of the best up-and-coming IGLs out of Turkey.
They're scared now.
And as you can tell, Click starting to intensify things just a little bit more. Is that promise has been delivered on for FUT? You know that they've made international events now, but whereas for Mate, it is a process.
So far, the way FUT have been playing this attack, very straightforward, very to the point, executing maybe a little bit slower, but sticking to one side of the map, right? Right now, this is the first real proper default that we're seeing. Spike not committed anywhere, exploring every avenue.
Yeah, they need to be a little bit careful here. It was just Kamek towards B, but a rotation made. Kada supporting, has the toxic screen towards A. Mid left completely open. After FUT made that move in the previous round, the expectation from Mates is that, you know, you don't double dip, you're not going back. So they set up accordingly, and with that stealth drone finding info A, they should have the read.
It looks like they're committing to it. Want to re-clear mid though, just to be sure there's not any late lurks that we saw from Cracks in that last round. Null Command invested, straight in. Mates can't stop anything at the minute in terms of utility, so they're held back.
Yeah, as I said before, there is little plant security here, so it's really just the null command you're relying on to actually get this one down. But as they drop back into a deeper post plant, look at the ults that Mate have to come back in with. Even just a lockdown well placed through the middle of sight from Mini could be all the difference in re-securing long.
You can see Mr. Fallen, he's already wanting to try and
the
take
wall.
more space, and the wall's done so well. It's just a quick spam. Mates haven't thought about this, and it's such a simple way to deal with the lockdown. Trying to get out of the wall, and it's Mr. Fallen with 3, Active Captain with 2, and FUT get 5.
Mr. Fallen says, you want to see a fragging IGL? I'm going to show you one. Taking matters into his own hands, and it just feels like a slight oversight from Gentlemates. I mean, you invest the lockdown and it's just cut short. The second layer from Atta is so well timed as well after they hadn't really been present mid, as we say. They didn't start the round with any pressure there. Mate's happy to give it up, but then they pay a hefty price as the round drags on.
It's so hard as well, because you see Mates, they pay a little bit of attention, they clear it before going for that retake. And then again, as you said, that extra layer, that late luck coming back through it. Similar round in terms of where the players' positionings are. Spike actually committed towards the B side once again. Kamek hanging around like he did last time. No punish though.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, 0 point, just tagging up 3 players, taking the drone offline, not maximizing the space. You can see FUT always leaving at least one player towards A, whether it's a lurk or just waiting for Click to throw himself at the belt. There's a big gap towards Snowman here, and so Click is holding on from Kitchen, but it's an isolated duel, one which Click will win.
Be right back.
Oh, head glitch there. Sorry, it's not a head glitch, you know what I mean, head peek. I'm so used to from old esports, but Kada gets fallen, Kamek helping. The lone, well, the Viper in towards this FUT, right at a stop here. No way out, no way to try and rescue this, and Click's got the information needed to lay up the slam dunk of an in-zone flawless.
Brilliant, and even just that double light speed from Click over the top towards the end signifies to you at home what exactly his role is in the team. Again, just creating space for the rest of his team, kind of like how you've seen a Neon player before, just use that slide to open up some extra space and drag the crosshair away from position. Kamek does a brilliant job here at holding sight, and you know, with what he was saying after the game last week as well, saying he feels like he has more responsibility in this team as well as like the second caller as things have been reshuffled a little bit. He gets the reinforcements that he wants. Into the next gun round, FUT will want a response, otherwise the scoreline's tied again.
Utility coming through, and it's the drone usually to try and identify the position of the B player. Look at Kamek though, he was the player that was being further up B, he's now towards Kitchen, and you can see Gentlemates thinking about actually starting to move up on the A side. Instead they're going to pull back, not capitalising off the stealth drone information.
Take flight.
And I wonder what FUT do with this too, because it wasn't quite caught on screen, but as we shift back to the players, I think 2 or 3 of them suppressed towards B long. This is such an important area of the map for the attackers, because you've got to go clearing it, and that's what Cat is going to do. Face checking around the corner of yellow. It's Zeus to solo peek it into the poison. Choked alive, cracks. And with Click up the guts of mid as well, he'll cut off the rotate for good measure. This is, well, I was going to say a potential back-to-back in-zone flawless, but you know, damned not to happen as soon as those words leave my lips. Mate, very good, mate.
poor patter, mate. But with that being said, what we are seeing is some very good rounds. Cada doing very well to hold on to yellow, and you can see the partnership with Kamek on this B side of the map.
In terms of that KO utility, we saw a few times before from Mate with it being Zipan on that role, but obviously the change making sense in terms of comfortability. Kamek, one of his more played agents, is suiting them so well in terms of the supportive flashes. So light towards this B side though, they've been able to do a lot more than the sum of their parts so far.
It's the first time we've seen Gentlemates really trying to be aggressive.
And how do you get out here as well? The Armageddon's right behind them, they've got to fight yellow.
They've got to try and get something, and well, they've already got one. Kamek got brought low, and they're looking still to keep going forward. The KO flash, the flashpoint, absolutely picture perfect, and so is the luck from Atta Captain.
Finding crazy timings as Yetu's just going to add more fuel to the fire. Mini last left, and that Armageddon just boxed in the rest of Mate. Nowhere that they could possibly go. Mini 1 kill deep into the clutch effort, but it goes no further. The 6th secured at long last for FUT.
Hey, listen, at least they're going to come into towards the next half at an even scoreline at the bare minimum. They'll be wanting to capitalise now, push it forward to 7, taking the advantage, because they've been sitting on this for so long, this advantage.
Seeing the flash here into yellow as well. So well timed to take down those 2 players, and that's one of the problems as well. When you are a little lighter on the hold, you have to consider what space you're able to hold on to, and then Teho doing Teho things makes you completely adjust the scales once again, as there was no retreat in sight. Final round of the half, Kamek holding onto an op, but it's the first thing that gets spotted.
Same again that we saw previously with the Hunter's Fury being used off rip on A, but FUT scaling so much slower compared to last time. Scared of what Gentlemates could do on the A side.
Well, and because they know it, they've set up an alarm bot as well. Mini has deep control to where the orb is. Not really been fighting for this kind of control all too often, but it's a nice early heads up. A little bit of pressure put towards B. Atta deposited late. His value in a lot of these rounds has come from the lurks, but he looks to be backing away while the drone's coming up.
Re-cleared out. I mean, at the same time, the Gentlemates identify that as the lurker and start to commit towards A with the pressure that's coming on and the spike being down. It certainly looks like it. Trading even, going one better. Now in a 3 versus 2, and you still have Click's ultimate to be used.
Still holding on to it. Gonna send it in a little bit earlier, and actually it's just a solo play. Click right in, refracts back, but you've only got 10 points of health, and all of a sudden the pool isn't looking as healthy as it was before. But Mini still stands tall, nearly on for the ace, but it's snatched away at the final moment, and now Yetu with a chance to close the half. To step back as the stun drops, and Zipan will finally confirm it. We'll be all even.
We certainly will, Hazard. Going all even, and I think that's complementary to both teams and how they've played this half so far. A very nice back and forth between the 2.
Absolutely has been the kind of start that they would have wanted. But we've got a word from the birthday boy. Let's hear about Click's experiences at kickoff and how he's feeling about this game against FUT.
First, like kickoff was really exciting, to be honest. I was anyway looking up to it. I remember the first game was like also really exciting because I don't know how many viewers we had. Like alone our CEO, this guy had like 300, 400K on Twitch, you know? So it was really fun to play, and there were also a lot of fans. So it was just like the first time in my life I see stuff like this, you know, that so many people, so many just fans cheering at you.
I'm ready big, guys. I'm ready big.
Against FUT, well, I just look forward to it, to be honest, because I a lot of people say like Turkish teams, they shoot really, really hard, you know? And like I know this is also my strength. So like I literally, it's full ego fight. They want to aim fight, bro, I go aim fight. If the better one, like the better one will win, you know? So I really look forward for this match.
He'll be hoping for a result today to cap off what is his 19th birthday. So happy birthday to Click, and for everyone in the arena, I don't exactly expect you all to sing him a song. It's a Thursday afternoon after all, but yeah, for everyone watching at home, go send some wishes to the guy.
Yeah, exactly. Get it in the chat. But with that being said, has a long way to go. 12 rounds remaining. Only takes 7 of them to finish out this map.
5 of the last 7 going the way of Gentlemates means that they have managed to wrangle themselves a little bit of control into this second half. And the attack, well, you look to that Waylay once again. As I said before, the only win for Waylay so far was against another Waylay comp ran by Liquid. It was Mates that won it, but her track record in all other maps, still 0 wins, still on the donut, and we just want to get that first little bite of the donut. You know, we want that first win.
Yeah, but again, we've already hinted towards it, how FUT want to play on this defend. Almost maybe like an attack as you start to look towards mid here, and the fact that 2 initiators are right behind Zeus.
Yeah, and there's a flash coming in as well to just incentivize the peak. Click playing forwards into the refract, falls back Zeus, double kill.
Easy as that. At the same time, Mates are going to pivot, try and get on towards A, and hopefully get a spike plant down.
It's a tap just for now. They are looking for extra jewels, something to just move the needle back and help the numbers, the man count, as they do trail by just the 1 for now, looking for a fight.
At the same time, because they've been tapping the spike and trying to bait everyone in for a peak, FUT are all here. They're ready for this.
Who's taking the contact? Mini having a little bit of a look. 2 players towards screen as Zeus gets yet another dashes pass to set up Atta as FUT come crashing back through. The A site their own. A 7th round has secured the lead again.
You can see what Gentlemates are trying to do, but it's the tee up in towards mid, taking the advantage, and also being so disciplined in the retake.
And that's one of the advantages that FUT have coming into this as well, is that there is tape on how Gentlemates like to play Icebox, whereas nothing can be said, the inverse. It was another A pistol that we saw from them previously, and that's why they go for the mid setup, right? You can get a nice quick early flank if we do see a repeat. I mean, Mates did try and interact with it a little bit. Didn't work out for them. And they're not going to be fancying their chances of any kind of an outlaw buy on the second round this time.
I don't think so. Almost something similar when you look towards mid. This time it's the 3 initiators that are trying to take that space once again.
Frax cross-map knife, so Garage already confirmed to be vacant, and with Mate grouping up towards A, it is a 4-player stack.
Look at the damage. That's why it's going to be easy for Click to trade out. At the same time, though, you have to try and gain control of backside. Stop players peeking you, and it's Mr. Fallen's Ghost that's actually the one doing the most damage. It's not looking good at all as Mini Sheriff tries to get to work, but it will work at nothing. That's a 2-round advantage that FUT are able to grab.
And responding really well to the setup as well. Like, I think Yetu had huge value from his special delivery there. A birthday present for Click perhaps dropped on towards default. No one capitalizing directly off the back of the stun as you see it land in there. But Mr. Fallen in and amongst it, 16 and 7 as it stands. I mean, it's both IGLs leading the way. I don't really know how that works, but hey, big brain, big aim.
Hey, listen, that's what it's got to be, right? Still be long. Look at Zeus, he's ready for this. A tee up, it's absolutely gorgeous. Can't quite get the 3rd though, but it's teed up at a captain in towards Garage.
That captain's already parked up in the garage. Hangs around here too long, he's gonna get a ticket. Mates need to clear this space out, but they've not really considered it at all. He is going to remain to be that deep deposit, and while Mini's not going to give away any steps, it's a stab in the back that you're just waiting for.
This 0-point break could be absolutely massive. At the same time, though, at a captain.
Wait.
How does he play this? He cleared it. Absolutely perfect. Mates doing well to try and convert from a bad position, and Kamek finishing it off with a little cherry on top.
I like that from Kada. Walks around, clamps the tire in the end finally, like, yeah, mate, you've been here for far too long. You thought I forgot about you? No, I'm coming back for that one. So,
it's like being VAR'd, isn't it? Like, you think you've just scored it and it gets brought back.
Yeah, the celebration swiftly muted. I mean, this was brilliant from Zeus to just kick things off. 2 kills off the back of the flash, and then Kada taking control of the situation as
good job.
One of the more experienced heads on this team, I think it's fair to say, after doing his fair share of work in challenges as well.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at both teams because they're essentially both products of the Tier 2 system.
FUT, different age, debut yet.
Mid though, Mini's found a little pocket to work within.
Could he be cooking up in the kitchen here? I mean, this is a very cautionary drone that's going to come out from Mr. Fallen. And yeah, Click does find the kill towards Yellow. So right now, Mini is a big Yellow distraction. And as the drone flares off on his position, mates get into theirs. Right on the site, digging heels in on B. Zeus clawing one back as he always does, but so much work left to be done.
Still need to confirm the spike. Oh, nearly denied yet. Tiji almost able to flick back. Still though, a significant advantage.
Zeus, one more kill, would have had the dash up, but the player who charges in front this round is Click, tying the scoreline 8 apiece.
I mean, massive from Mini, right? Finds a little gap, and taking damage from the spam or wherever it's come from. But on top of that, as you said perfectly, a big Yellow distraction for FUT to try and collapse upon, when at the same time it put mates into a position to try and swing towards deep mid, towards those back positions, and yeah, FUT just lost so much space there.
I think too, when you have the Teho, you can make these really deep clears, and I think the synergy between the dash on Click and obviously Kamik's flashes as well, you're seeing the value. Ada keeping an eye on Garage. 1v1 opposite number. Nice shot at her. Does this force mates' hands? They've still got over a minute and 20 seconds to play around with, but now feeling A inclined. Refract is enabled. It gets the saturate off, but with the suppression, he is locked into this site, and so is the rest of the team.
Spike should be easy to go down. Blades being used. That rifle can be chucked over to one of Zeus's teammates. That's exactly what happened.
Crack still has both flashes here on the way back through, and Zeus with blades in hand. We're looking to take a fight, but instead mates want to go on the offensive, or at the very least, just slow them down with the hinder.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really hard to try and get back into. You've got to be thinking salvos are still there. Mini still has the nano swarms as well as Kamik having his molly.
Already bought half of the time off the spike, and that will continue to tick away. Zeus removes the first of those players as Krax gets on towards the defuse. Deep positioning from mates. They need to try and get back on the line. Look for a fight. It's Zeus dictating the play instead. A swing from Kamik to save the day, but he goes down early. And so Mr. Fallen will give FUT a pace safeguard thrifty.
Yeah, I don't know, like, when you see all of mates falling back, you're thinking, well, it's just a post plant, right? There's no way that FUT are able to get back onto this, and it's not only that, Zeus does so well to try and take the fight on the front line. This is absolutely insane.
The attack helicopter flying through the sky, man.
AC-130.
Armed and dangerous.
Really well played. Zeus does absolutely brilliant.
And there is never a round write-off when he has those blades in his hand.
I don't think there's ever a round write-off when it's FUT.
Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment as well, but we have to give the same credit to mates right now. Click, deep clear boiler, gets the value from it this time. It's a kill onto Mr. Fallen, and he's out of dodge.
This is lovely stuff. At the same time, FUT need to try and get something back, but in the meantime, losing players.
Oh, this is a really nice choice from Asa Captain. He's going to fight in towards main, deep, where he has the flank coming in. Now Zipan is the player who's hot under the collar, where instead it would have been him as the anchor on the site. Zipan wins the fight, though. It's just one player. Where is Yetu in all of this? He's hedged his bets, and, well, neither of them have come up.
This is not looking good whatsoever. Still, Brawl ensues. Zipan finally dealt with. The Spike's been ticking away this full time.
It has. It's boiling over right now. The cauldron cooked away by mates. in position. Kamek holding firm onto yellow. He's got contact from Click deep in Snowman. Set up for success as time continues to play against FUT. Another player dropping to the deck. It's Yetuje this time as Kamek has found a triple for himself on the round. But that all spins back to Belong.
Yeah, it does. Sipan does excellently, but also on top of that, Gentlemates realising the mistakes, not letting players take them off guard.
I love this deep dive from Click. He did it a couple of times on the attack against Liquid, but most of that was just trying to create a little bit of space. There wasn't a full rollout. You weren't seeing the extra value. He's managed to land it a little bit more practice on the lineup perhaps, and you're golden.
I think as well, like on top of that, FUT are interacting with mids a lot here, right, in terms of the utility that they're using out here. Early Vipers pit towards 8.
Let's go very quiet on the map. Scurrying of drone steps as they give each other a chest bump. No players caught in the process. Yetu is suppressed now, and he is solo yellow.
Very lenient, I guess, with the uses of the Hunter's Fury that we're seeing come through from Mr. Fallen. No real value to come off the back of it.
No. Just a couple of players in position. I mean, they were thinking about potentially re-exploring A.
Kraxus has no flashes either here, so it's just straight up gunfights.
So he can stall a little longer. The salvos at the feet, and then as he turns his head around, Click has found a different point of entry. SJ's head explodes as the Armageddon goes on site. A slight gap. Mr. Fallen falling in the bag. Nano Swarm dropping beside him. And as he tries to play forward, Zeus in support, it's not going to be enough for them. Gentlemates staring down the possibility of double digits here. As FUT's rifle round has gone to pot. Atta is going to get one on the fadeaway, but he needs 3 more.
Still has an orb to work with as well. He could try and disguise on the spike, but he won't even get onto it. Double digits confirmed for Gentlemates.
Nice stop-start round from Gentlemates on Belong there. As we said before, it's not just about the space that you take, but then the denial of information. And Yetuje's hands are tied from that position. If you go and face check as the Teho at that point in the round, when you'd already invested your drone, you don't want to be the guy that gives away the bozo death that sort of ruins the round for the rest of your team, but you also need confidence. You know, if you're afraid to win, then every move is a risk.
Now into a timeout, we're starting to get to crunch time, right? These two teams have been trading rounds back and forth, at least it would seem like that, but Gentlemates are the ones who are able to string these rounds together, right? It's looking more concrete from the attack, and something I wanted to talk about, Hazza, is the fact that, like, Gentlemates are actually only a year behind FUT in terms of the life cycle if you look at both rosters, right? Both have come from Tier 2. FUT won VRL Finals in 2022, and then you look at Gentlemates, they won Ascension in 23, right? You look at the development of the roster, both rosters and how it's going.
Yeah. That's the asterisk, right? Both rosters, because you are talking about a different team here. I think one of the big things for me is that if Gentlemates can, you know, confirm this, find a way to beat FUT against all odds. Well, you know, both of these teams are top of their group as it stands. But few people would have forethought that Gentlemates would be in this position. They haven't won 2 games in a row since it was the French side that came up from the lower bracket of Ascension in 2023 to beat Apex. It feels like every single time the roster played a team before, it would be, you know, a weaker team and then a stronger team. You had Liquid with the changes. Now you're coming into, what, you know, FUT on form. So, hey, if you can find a win today, then perhaps they have just hit their stride.
And I think as well, considering yesterday's result against BBL, this would rip the group right open, identifying that Zeus has taken a forward position and Gentlemates straight in towards Kitchen.
A lot of pace about this, despite the fact it's an anti-eco, and right into the spawn they go! Click doubling up, dishing out all of the damage. I mean, if you look at FUT right now, they are so split up from one another. You had that fight in spawn, all of a sudden, trying to fill the gap through the snow pile. Gentlemates all over them like a rash in terms of what you hope to try and take away from this round. Maybe a bit of damage, but credits are building up.
Kamek's ready for this. Flash is actually spot on, but can't capitalise. Click certainly looks to, but I mean, it's only just one. Kada will be the one to finish it off. We are getting closer and closer to map finish.
next gun round is huge. Yep. The winner of this one. Map point for Gentlemates up against their FUT, half buy at best, you think. And now you can see that Click is starting to play with confidence. As I said before, not necessarily the player who in this team you're investing so much to set him up, but as he's come on leaps and bounds from that SK team, which feels completely different to this Gentlemates roster.
Yeah.
This is a roster with the goal of staying in VCT rather than staying in the DAC League.
Yeah, that's totally different standards. And on top of that, as for this round, we're going to be looking at the ultimate game. That's the big thing that will be the difference, and with it being so harsh on FUT's economy, I mean, you can see both teams looking for it. Zeus looking for a kill, but can't get it.
Second round in a row, he's gone for that play.
Oh, Yetishi can't get more than two, and easily picked up Kamek. Gentlemates can just go straight into this with an advantage.
All of the time in the world, and as the Killjoy lockdown drops in, there's no way to deny it. Yetishi gone. Can't combine the Armageddon or salvos, a hefty investment perhaps. But free reign over the A site is the name of the game for Gentlemates right now, and a possibility to get the spike plant in. Click!
Ooh.
Hungry as ever, but perhaps his eyes bigger than his stomach, because with that we go back 3-on-3. Kamek to stabilize, Spike only just getting picked back up.
Gentlemates have plenty of time to rotate to B, play around with the map, create pressure points elsewhere in the map to move FUT, and on top of that, they have a player advantage. They just need to be wary of when FUT come back in, they will have the null command.
Yeah, they will. And with the knife just being used on A, Krax has called this rotation ahead of time. Mr. Fallen coming into the retake will have the recon.
I don't think Kada wants to use the Viper's Pit either, but just because of how easily you'd be spammed out.
Death's Door, and he's arrived! Crossed the threshold! Krax kicking him over the doorstep. 3 kills picked up, and now all eyes to Mini.
If there's anybody you want to rely upon, it has to be Mini.
So many clutches last year, but now making his debut on the big stage. Will he be blinded by the lights, or can he take them all for himself? 12th round, R-Stop. It's fragged out so heavily thus far, but going wide for the first. It's Krax to shut down the second. He is the star of this round. A quad kill, which keeps FUT in it.
Excellently done. On top of that, the pressure that would have been on it, and FUT just playing together. Zeus very unlucky not to get one pick. I mean, so uncharacteristic. And for me, Yetishi is the hero of this round. Being able to get that double kill, bring it so close. I'll see that. Krax was pretty much the hero.
Yeah. I mean, look, he gets a double kill, but then Krax gets a double-double. I mean,
yeah, double.
The, steady. The null command making things interesting for us here on the commentary desk, but you can already see Click preparing the light speed. The ult ready, Zeus in position, but with his presence detected, he drops back.
I respect it, right? The utility being put forward by Gentlemates. At the same time, though, you can see Krax is holding this flash.
Play queued up for FUT, but it's just not going to come to all that great effect. And while Zipan's going to be hindered, doesn't matter. It's only Click that we have to worry about right now, but he can't find the space, and so it's a second expedition to the site with utility once more.
Seeing Kamek can't quite get the kill he was looking for. At the same time, Annihilation coming on down, trying to force players out. But I don't know if FUT want this smoke. It looks like Gentlemates have everything they need. And that's going to be map point.
A brilliant round for Mates to win. They respond immediately, and as good as that previous round win was, it was only Krax left standing. A hero moment to save them for just that point in time. And it's a modified defensive setup here as they try to flood backside, or at least fill that gap a little bit more with bodies.
We aim so much better, I swear. Let's go.
This is...
when it comes to the jewels, they were prepared.
Yeah, they were. And on top of that, Hazza, things get worrying when you look at this buy. When you look, would this FUT actually have to try and finish out or get close to finishing, stopping Gentlemates finishing out this map? There's an ultimate still to be used in Kada's pocket as well. Gentlemates in the perfect position to try and finish this map out.
Target destroyed.
Gentlemates, with every passing round, the attack speed increases, turning the dial, increasing the pressure. But with a reclear, Little bit of mid-rounding here after that first phase of utility coming through, so the salvos should return to Zipan momentarily, as they have left Mini in position, calling away from the rest of the pack to set up the team to now take mid-control.
He's thinking about this.
He's gonna be overwhelmed, unless he hits a Kalau or something crazy. No, it's just Click at the front of the Horde once more, and now Atta to be overwhelmed.
Yeah, it needs to try and hold on to something, you think.
Mini!
Oh, no.
Oh, hello!
That's a little bit of a disaster. At least the rest of the roster's there to try and close this out. It's around the world, and it's going to be a map win for Gentlemates. A brilliant start.
Previous international representatives looking to head towards Toronto as far as FUT are concerned, but it is this worldwide Gentlemates European roster which are starting to show some serious levels, especially on Icebox. A first win for Waylay against a non-mirror as well. Plenty of positives to take away. Can they make more of it after the break?
I want a new career.
F1 driver, Jedi, musician. Wibbs got booed. This is my kind of office party.
I want an epic adventure.
Have you heard of the Great Circle?
What?
We got you.
I'm traveling the world?
Hold on to your hat. Who's next?
I want to play with all League of Legends champions.
Riot benefits. Say less. We got you.
I met the ones in the game.
You're in the game now. Get all this and more with PC Game Pass. You know what I'm gonna say. Yeah, we got you.
Better watch out, I'm on the climb to the crown in my prime right now. Hear me loud, I've been spitting for a while now. All by myself, independent DIY now. Don't need no help, I've been beating out labels and money and budgets, it's funny. I do all the work, yeah, keep it 100. I fight for my dreams, I would die for these things. I believe in myself, I refuse to be weak, I like to build things. empires out of buildings. I wanna leave a legacy of helping others finally feel things, of motivating and killing depression, exhaustion. We need some healing. I work through the pain, I like seeing gains. I keep my head down, buried, walk through the flames. Yeah, I do this every day, even when I feel drained. A true man pushes through, you don't hear complaints. No, I don't wanna stay the same, yeah. So I keep pushing through the pain, yeah. That's the only way to make a change, yeah. So I fight every day and train, yeah. It'll all be worth it. One day it'll all be worth it. So I keep pushing through the pain, yeah. That's the only way.
Welcome back, everybody. Gentlemates, they managed to secure their map pick in their match against FUT. Welcome back on the desk. I'm here with Zenit and Tombis. We saw the compositions, we had some questions, and at the end of the map, of course, we have a winner. What do we make about Gentlemates' performance in this icebox?
I think it was really good. I was impressed, especially going into the second half, how they were able to exploit quite a bit of space. And also the Waylay actually looked pretty good, which I'll be honest, from most match we've seen from Waylay, it's kind of sucked so far, so seeing someone run it decently was nice.
Yeah, I know that you wanted to take a look at the specifics because as you're mentioning, we saw a couple of rounds where you could actually see the difference or actually the edge that you can take on a team like FUT. They had not played the map before, so going into this having so many set rounds can definitely be the difference maker.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we talked about with this agent is the refract, the ability to fall back. Is like that was the talking point in every single matchup, but in the clip that we're going to show, I really liked the combination of the saturate, which is obviously the slow. So you can see on your screens that setting up of that Armageddon ready to be put into play, and then click. It's just that little bit of extra timing to throw that saturate into position and get aggressive at the same moment, but it wasn't even needed because at that point there was no escape for Cracks, there was nowhere anybody can move, and that's where he's then looking for the next player, looking for the next fight. So I think just those cool little additions to an already decent setup make it a very easy opening pick for that squad.
What would you have done against that?
Like, I agree because like it's a very good combo. Like they really good prepare. Like there was one more moment which they flash mid and Waylay dashed to the boiler and killed Mr. Fall in there. And they really prepared very well against FUT, I think. And yeah, what can I say? They played well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to give props to both of the duelists that we're seeing. It doesn't matter where you're playing, Tom, because both of them found the impact that they needed to have.
Yeah, for sure. I think that obviously it took a little bit of time going into the second half for things to get going. I know that Zenit was saying when he was watching that sort of first half that FUT seemed to have success one-dimensionally. It was one side of the map that went quite well, right?
Yeah, like when they went B, I think 5 out of 7, they went B and they won the 5 rounds from B only in attack side. And that's the, I don't know if that's the thing because of they play 3 initiator or because the Gentlemates weak on B, but yeah, maybe they should go B to win attack because it wasn't enough to win the game.
I love that you mentioned the triple initiator. We're seeing the composition here in the back. And of course, it's not only that you have 3 initiators, it's what you're missing. Not having the Sentinel, not have a way of controlling mid. Do you think that Gentlemates did their homework well on the go? Because of course, they didn't know, I assumed until now, that they were going to see this composition, how they managed to find those gaps.
Like, I don't know, before the game they knew they will play 3 initiator, or did they decide in the game, but like they really missed, like FUT was missing Sentinel and they felt it, I feel like, because they knew it, they don't have Sentinel and Gentlemates used it.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we saw was obviously this attempt at aggressive control, but there were a few adaptations attempted by FUT to sort of negate the fact that they don't have a Sentinel. And you can see it in this round in particular. I think they're having to expend their drone just to try and clear positions that they know that have been given up. So that's where you have that catch onto Mini, which ends up making this not as problematic a round. But the thing I enjoyed about this, and you'll see in a moment, it was actually the round that Cena mentioned just moments ago, these sort of like dives forward into mid to fight with the flash. They basically realized that, okay, there's not going to be a turret, there's not going to be something that can actually slow us down. It's just going to be a player. So if we look to fight them directly, we can get these wonderful opening picks that there's not a whole lot your opponent can do about because they just don't have the utility to stop you.
Yeah, but I like seeing this kind of things because it makes us, even though it was a very, very close encounter here on Icebox, it's not like Gentlemates are just being lucky. It's this adaptations on the go that makes us hopeful for the future. And speaking about the future, we're moving to Fracture. That is going to be FUT's pick in this affair, as I'm saying. Mr. Fallen had a great first map. What can you tell me about his IGLing on that map? Because it's kind of crispy.
To be honest, I know Mr. Fallen, so I know he doesn't like...
You do?
You do?
Yeah.
No way.
I know his IGLing style, and I know his mind, and I know he doesn't like Fracture, to be honest.
He doesn't! Oh my god, I did not expect that one.
So what is,
Fracture. Yeah, I was going to say, what is the thought process then behind
this is I can say. He hates Fracture.
I love it because whenever we have, for example, like we had the other day, Yesterday and Zeus, whenever we ask about the compositions and everything, they just say, guys, the sides. They just, whatever he says goes. Nobody else has anything else to say.
I don't know.
Isn't that the
I don't know, Bear. I think we have a spy with us. I think that somebody might be on foot who said, yeah, oh, he hates Fracture. He hates Fracture. Yeah, 13-6 Fnatic, 13-16 Liquid, but hates the map. People should keep picking it against us.
Do you think that maybe it's because he doesn't like the map that he puts more effort onto it because he doesn't want to make the others feel like
he
he's
wins out of stubbornness.
Preference.
It's stubbornness. He's like, I hate this map, but I'm going to win it just to spite you.
I can say that he's hating, but he doesn't. It doesn't mean he doesn't work because sometimes where you hate the map, you put more work because you need to play it in the end. You know, you can't always just dodge it.
That is a great point because I imagine their opponents really hate the map at the moment. After losing 13-3 and 13-6 to Fnatic and Heretics, only getting one round in each attack side. Sure, they've changed a player or two, but I know for a fact that when you talk about Gentlemates, if this map is still in the veto and they didn't want to risk the Ascent, they have done some work over the last, obviously, month or so where they've had that break between Masters. So I'm looking forward to see what they've got. I do think on paper, though, this is a mismatch.
A mismatch. Okay, I wanted to ask you as well, since we have you. You've given us your thought on Mr. Fallen. What about Krax? Because he's the only one here in EMEA that runs the KO on this map. Do you think that it is something that could be perceived as a weakness on the side of FUT?
Like, I think he's the best KO in the world, to be honest. I can say that, but some rounds. I'm saying objective, you know. I'm not putting in one. He's the best KO in the world, and FUT is using in some maps very well. But sometimes can be, as you said, this can be weakness because sometimes some maps you can't run KO because it will be like weakness for you.
Yeah, I think it's less popular. We'll see though. I think going into the agents changes because I'm mainly looking at the mate side and what they're going to be bringing in. It's that Neon matchup, and that was another thing that we were talking about, whether or not that Neon was just going to be a direct counter for that Fnatic game they played last time. Well, it seems like both teams are confident on it, CNED. Are you happy with a Neon on Fracture?
To be honest, Neon right now, after the nerfs and after this Teho like being meta, like I think Neon is not my first choice, to be honest, in the some maps because.
Who is?
Sorry?
Who is your first choice?
I don't want to say Jet.
But I will.
But I will. I think Jet is, I think front of the Neon because of this Teho is nading and you can't follow the Neon easily in this map, so it wouldn't be my first choice, but I think both teams make a Neon choice.
10.5% attack win rate, by the way. I think that's the lowest I've ever seen a team have that's actually played the rounds.
Please, let them be for a second. Well, actually, let's see if they can improve that, because in fact, they will be starting on the attack. Hazakaira, do you think they have it in them?
That's the question that we want to ask, of course. That's a very, fence-sitting answer from me, of course.
Cheers, mate.
But the expectations for FUT coming into this is that they have not missed a international event, a second international event of the year since partnerships began. Shanghai, their most recent performance, that was the highest that they've ever pitched at one of those. So now you're wondering, was that 2-0 against Koi maybe inflated a little bit by the fact that they haven't been performing so well? Can we get excited? Can we get hyped about FUT? I think they can turn it around.
I think they can turn that around, but on the other hand, is Gentlemates just that much better with the addition of Kamek and Mini taking that IGL role?
Let's see. Zeus has been ever consistent, regardless of all the change around him. He has gelled perfectly into this foot piece, but as it starts, it's not going to go too well. It continues, in fact, from the previous. Another pistol round looking to head towards Gentlemates. Mr. Fallen finally in the middle of things gets one back. As mates are running through spawn and Krax has cottoned onto this.
He's heard everything and he's calling towards the lone site anchor on towards B. Cat Captain at the same time is exploring A main all the way through in towards attacker spawn.
How diligent do you go? Is it just going to be a freebie? Yeah, it is. Zipan with one kill, but in the meantime, fight's going on towards Gen. Forwards goes Click. He's going to drop. Now looking at the position, Zipan is so far out of play. He'll just be looking to try and use those salvos late, but not too much time already bought here. It's a true 1v1.
You've got to look at the position of the spike plant as well. It's not anywhere near for Zipan. They've already got the salvos out in Krax now. Owen just needs to wait on the peak. It comes through, and it's a 4K for Krax.
Another quad kill, full of impact from one of FUT's longest standing players. And it's the kind of response that you really needed after Gentlemates getting away with so many of these pistols, having good prep coming into it. In terms of the post plant, I like the idea to fight towards spawn side, but it's just very, very staggered.
Yeah, it's really... I mean, like, the round itself is so topsy-turvy. You're thinking to yourself, like, as the rotate's coming through, like, it should be a Gentlemates round, but they hadn't identified the player in towards towers, etc. It's just very well played all round.
I think out of the spawn plants we've seen so far, Na'Vi tried it as well. I can't remember one that has gone well because of the plant. It's always been something else that has happened to offset it a little bit. Mini spotted as the Cypher main, and with the flashing util coming in, you expect the second piece.
Krax just going for more. He's actually got two. Needs to be careful, the player coming up rope. At the same time though, Kamek's there to peek off it. This is really nice. A 3K in total, but a Bulldog recollected. This is something to work with.
Now 2v3, and both of those players are split up for FUT. They've got to try and find a way to get everything back together.
It's that recollection of the spike though. Meanwhile, FUT have cleared all the way through spawn and have a good idea of the picture.
Gentlemates still hanging around towards B.
Oh, they're re-clearing through bottom. Zeus has to be big here.
Right into him. The cam doesn't clear. Zeus has perfectly positioned himself as to not be caught by this, and so it's a lineup of players straight to the chopping block. Zeus with 2 kills that put FUT 2 rounds up.
Yeah, you just see the intelligence of the duelist. At the same time, that arcade push, the arcade fight, a little bit dangerous. You're starting to see the ideas, what was coming through.
This is just brilliant work from Krax to clean up solo. You feel as if Gentlemate needed to do a little bit more to catch him there, put a bit more pressure on. He's 7-1 right now inside those first 2 rounds. With the full purchase coming in, yeah, they're up against the null command early.
Yeah, you're looking at where the stun's going though. That's towards top tower in A. A nice combination coming through with the utility. Mr. Fallen, not long for this world.
Served up from the strat book and executed perfectly. Once again, Gentlemates finding themselves in link towards spawn with rotations heading their way.
Just now up against plenty of players, and Kamek, the one to capitalise. At the same time, FUT proactive, going and taking A main space. Gentlemates clearly pivot, go towards B, and they've even got enough time to try and allocate the spike to get extra orbs. Well, in this case, it will be the Rolling Thunder for Kamek.
It's the perfect situation to set up the post plant exactly as you would like, cater to your strengths. 3 players in main, early contact from Mini, and the rest right behind. Mate following the torch that he has held in front. Leading by example once again, as soon as Click gets the slightest scent of blood, he is right there and ready for it. Any more birthday gifts, perhaps?
Aye, that's what you're looking for, right?
Turning up to his birthday party on his birthday with a birthday gift? Not gonna get it. It's Mini instead. But Gentlemates are on the board.
You're a year younger than me, and sometimes like you feel like decades younger, you know what I mean? Like, oh my god. Very nice set play coming through with the utility. They identified the breach player, Mr. Fallen, who'd been playing there a few times. And yeah, Kamek just spot on.
Like, where do you go? Where do
Yeah.
you go with a play like that? And the answer for Gentlemates being, of course, you go through spawn if you're them. And I think it's another situation when they get towards B and it looks good, and we're not going to see the same again. I mean, Mr. Fallen is there. This would be a bit disgusting, wouldn't it? Oh, where's he off to this time? He's lived it. He has lived it. Fair play. Wouldn't want to make that mistake twice.
Hey, listen, I've seen it happen before. Click this time. Look at this. They're getting the space towards CT. Zeus though, catch it in transition, Kada, and Mr. Fallen making sure to make good of the trade. Advantage towards Foot.
Just trying to clear out this area here. Pest control, making sure that nobody has managed to slip the net and get towards spawn. Quite laissez-faire, lax, allowing the French organisation to get the plant in on A.
Go ahead.
Very close. Armageddon being used to try and tee up Mini. It doesn't work out. Now the two players stuck on site have to hold up against 4 players of Foot. The first one got, the second, the third, make it 4! Gentlemates able to break the bye of Foot.
Absolutely decimating them. Kamik in full control yet again. Joining this squad, he feels as if it's been night and day from those days that he spent on the Liquid team. Finally seeing the other side of things, the sunny side of things.
As well though, frustrating round for Foot, right? You're in a 4 versus 2, coming back in, and you gift 1 versus 1s to the 2 remaining players. Massive stuff.
And having already sought his revenge in the previous matchup, the tear continues. Foot on the receiving end so far. And in this round, what are your objectives? Collecting orbs, creating a problem point for Gentlemates perhaps towards bridge on the top side of the map. They've cleared it out. Gentlemates were actually looking to try and re-clear that space themselves through the underpass. Instead, it is Click solo B.
Cracks.
Huge fight.
Has to be won cleanly. Cracks needs to hit headshot.
Double stun.
This is very nicely done. No!
Kamik again.
Yeah, he looks almost good enough to try and get that double. Zeus, though, certainly looks good enough himself. That's a player you can rely upon. Rolling Thunder isn't going to work out. Mr. Fallen's classic is. This is winnable.
Kamik has now died with the Aftershock as well, and while the Incendiary flies through the skies, it's not quite landed just yet, and only just now starting to stop the defuse. Actually, I don't think it had landed correctly, but it doesn't matter. Mini's found 2 kills, needs a third to make it a third.
Has the cam for contact. Spike hadn't been half, has to jump because of the cam's positioning, needs to win out. Still, Mr. Fallen trying to bait out, using the stun to at least get half, but just peeks out and wins it instead. A round that shouldn't have been that close, but still, at the end of the day, it's won by mates.
They get there. Over the line, Mini to take them once more. Kamik doing brilliant work in tower. Up against, you know, a set of Sheriff's pistols just to try and be problematic. The fact that the Rolling Thunder is absent from this following round is probably the biggest thing if you're Foot, though. They have an overdrive.
The best. Let's go.
The threat that their own ultimate could create proactivity. But from the setup, you can see it is anything but the case.
Yeah, that last round, right, they tried to go for the bridge crunch, even though it was a slow one. Mates didn't see it. This would have been the round to call it, unfortunately. Contact being taken towards drop.
And because it is a little telegraph, this disc control isn't half too bad. The runway put out for Click. Jumping down into danger, into Mr. Fallen. Feet planted on the A site with the rest of Foot following suit. Kada, the last player left, the orb by his side. His death shall confirm the orbital strike regardless. So perhaps better just not to give away the position for now. It's an empty utility belt from the most vanilla of vanilla agents. You literally just got the gun in your hand to try and get something done here.
Where do you even go, realistically? I mean, at this point in time, with 4 players towards that A side, I mean, 3 looking over the spike alone.
You've got to be thinking to the future. And for a player like Kada as well, who joined from Stage 2 last year, he's had a little bit more time to mesh with this project as it's been built. from the ground up, from the coach slot. We mentioned it a little bit before, but Gentlemates have invested a lot into their coaching staff, trialing the right people. Back so far as August, September last year, I think around at the time of Ascension is when they were starting to look picking up pieces, because really this is almost like the best of the rest in terms of challenges and the players that they've been able to hold on to. And Kada, of course, has his own personal reasons. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? You look at the investment for Gentlemates as a whole. Like JT, Gokid,
Mekwanka.
I don't think my accent is maybe the
honestly,
best.
I'm glad that you left that one to me, but the point still stands.
Yeah, like there is so much there, and this like ties into the point that we were talking about earlier in terms of Ante and stuff like that, how it was looking good against Liquid, and now coming in against FUT. This is the map to Ante.
A Parisian homecoming at the end of the tunnel, but Gentlemates taking this one game at a time. FUT standing in front of them and starting to respond with the right ideas. 4 ultimates at their disposal. First of which the overdrive, and as we finally see that bridge play come in, it is greeted with emptiness, silence.
I like this though, at the same time, every single time, FUT putting the same side for utility there. So it seems as if maybe there had been a lot towards that side of the map. There has not been.
Yeah. This reclear from underpass is gnarly to try and get through though. When you don't have that extra presence to just support it a little bit, and you'd have to be crazy or nuts yesterday to go across that zip line without any extra info.
Still, it's close by. He's potentially walking into a trap. You can see Cracks looking to try and perhaps tee up one of the players. It doesn't come through at the same time though. The utility has, and it looks as if almost a guaranteed kill. Lepconn gets out with 30 points of health.
Walks out of the fire, smouldering his shirt, giving off smoke but still alive. Mates now realizing that there may be a gap elsewhere, and this stack of FUT players that sits on B has made concessions elsewhere, so to A they go later in the round this time.
Attack now using their orbital strike. You've got to think as well, once FUT get, or what if we get in towards post, well, there's always the chance there's a retake cam. It's not going to be needed at the moment though, because the spike's still not committed. Ultimate certainly is. It's going to be a brawl all the way to the end, and now it's just the remaining player of Cracks, who's looked so good so far and has to step up once again.
The fragment comes in, but it's a moment too late. Kamek trying to escape goes down.
Oh, 1v1.
It's Cracks, you feel like, who's in control right now. He's large and in charge. Lepconn going down before the salvos could save him. Nothing to fall back upon. It's FUT in front.
It's a player as well, when we look towards Cracks in the performance, who we've talked about as being this utility player, the system player, the one who's always setting people up. And this series so far, absolutely lights out. The value that the kills he keeps getting is almost round winners.
FUT's longest serving player taking this game into his own hands.
I don't know.
You can see what it means to the rest of them as well, resurrected in this second map so far. And you already mentioned it here a little bit. He really struggled, I think, in the previous series in terms of those attack halves especially. So on the defense, it's a positive start. We'll have to keep our finger on the pulse as far as that goes. But I think the big thing for me as well is, are you getting the trade value out of him? And when Cracks is playing well, well, all of FUT are playing well. That seems to be the case, because he's so involved with the pack, with how they set up, whether it's the retake or anything else. 11-4 right now, and still with that null command available. Gentlemates, no ults, but you are close to Zipan's Armageddon, and that has to be factored into the plans here.
It does. As well though, like coming out that last round, it has to be, like, we speak of the word frustrating, right? But like, how is that conveyed in terms of, like, why is that? On top of that, you look at like the ultimates used, orbital strike. Sure, you're using like the neural theft and the overdrive. Maybe not massive ultimates the last two, but you're talking in terms of, this is still pieces that you would like to have in the back pocket for later rounds, and if you use it on a round loss, the value hasn't been gained.
Gentlemates have to make the most of what it is they've got here. Just a rifle on click, the Phantom. Serving up sprays as he slides by. perhaps be the catalyst to that initially. It's a combination of util and tower, which Cracks has sidestepped quite nicely, and with the null command expended, there'll be no more of that.
There's ultimates, not ultimates, utility to come back from Mr. Fallen, finding many, and Cracks looking to try and take things on his own pace. And on top of that, that's weapons to pick up.
Cracks is just going to watch life fade away from him right now as Kada, the player, to give the all clear. Nowhere to go. Has to fight forwards here. Mr. Fallen in the face of oppression, finding his third of the round, and it falls down to Atta Captain at the end to close it out for FUT. Damn near close from Gentlemates. They did invest that ult that they had though.
That's what we were speaking about, getting value from ultimates. I understand why they've invested it right. Gentlemates fancy themselves. It's lovely stuff all in, but again, we're speaking about value. You're now at 5-3. Dude, your economy not looking fantastic, and you're investing these ultimates as well.
That's crazy from Mr. Fallen.
Yeah.
Running into danger as the explosions go off behind him. It's like something out of a Bond movie.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Exactly. And to start this one off, yeah, right, I mean, you're saying that I'm young. What's that say about you? Jeez. Mates have got the Zimmer frame out in this round. They're taking a slow approach.
I respect it.
One leisurely stroll.
One off the Rolling Thunder as well. That's exactly what they're going looking for.
Go, go, go.
It's funny we mentioned age for just a moment. Mini is the youngest IGL in the league, up against one of the veterans in Mr. Fallen, so
Fully smoked.
it's an attack side which has struggled so far. Mid-round always been something highlighted that needed improvements, and in terms of this one, they're stricken for options, trying to split the A site, and they'll use the Rolling Thunder to do it.
Still to get out. Kada first in. Still Zeus not spoken about, not even found, and he's going to activate at the right time. Looking to get more! A player who constantly turns up where he's needed. That's 4 on the round, and setting FUT up almost for a flawless.
Zeus one off the ace, and yet again he has managed to capture lightning in a bottle. He'll try to close it out here with all 5, and Zeus has done exactly that.
Absolutely lights out. A player who is just mechanically superior to almost everyone in this league. Name a player better than him when it's their day. I genuinely don't think you can.
Durka. I'm sorry, you asked.
Oh, mate, come on, man. Like, let me have my moment.
I know exactly what you're saying, and he has been the difference here.
Yeah, there is always Durka.
That is a duel that I would love to see, but it's one that we have to be considering later down the road. As we said, you're taking it one step at a time for both of these teams, for building into yet another year where their campaign can only be considered a success if they make international stages, make deep runs. And Zeus, certainly a key component of that right now. It's on the other hand reduced to a pick and mix of weapons here, but that seems to be enough right now to give them the green light to the A site, but no plant as this molly is so well timed.
Yeah, it'll be frustrating because now those smokes are getting closer and closer to fading. At the same time, you're thinking about the post plant. What utility do you have? You still have the Brim and Sindri, and on top of that, Zipan, the Teho, his salvos as well.
Don't forget that orbital strike. Look, we can list them off as much as we like. It's the gunfights that have got to start going their way if they want. Click, using and abusing the smoke around the side with the Stinger. 2 kills picked up. Is the defuse still coming in? Yeah, it is. That's been completely overlooked. It's another missed molly, in fact, that sold them short.
Yeah, last time they didn't pay for it, but this time round they certainly do. And that's a thrifty round, right? Where you are able to consolidate in main. On top of that, everything looks good.
And amongst all the chaos, it's just that slight oversight. I mean, we didn't see on the player POV the bar across the top, but the diffuse was being worked on the whole time. The observer's catching it in the picture-in-picture.
It's just like...
Yeah, the molly comes in and... Oh, it was body blocked! I was body blocked!
Nice, yeah.
By Yetu, that's so smartly played.
But it's not only that, though. You've got to be thinking about the bodies that are on the line, right? I mean, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh there.
Sure. The rifle round is the real barometer of where Gentlemates' attack side currently stands between a FUT that have put their foot down. No, but you know, the pun was intended, but you get the point. This is what we expect from them. You've got to be setting teams like Gentlemates straight if you want to be as dominant as we expect.
Expansive wordplay.
Thank you.
No bother.
I'm here all day.
Spike drop.
See if Gentlemates can cut down the working hours and...
Yeah, at the same time though, you're seeing like a lineup here in terms of like the breach shootout, well, the breach done towards a tower, I'd imagine, plus the salvos. Just trying to fake out towards the B site, maybe catch a rotate over. While that happens though, there's still going to be the Cypher here and the utility, so there's going to be a clear bit of information that FUT will be able to rotate off of.
Yeah, you can see Mr. Fallen was holding the Rolling Thunder, so for FUT right now, the brunt of the setup is catered towards the B side of the map. He'll shuffle the goalpost a little bit. And as the defense mutates, that's a captain that's able to find the first of the kills. Plenty of ultimates invested into this round. It could be huge in terms of the ramifications, because Gentlemates, as you say, are stricken for options now. The utility belt is empty, and so are the opportunities. The time bank is gone, and at the beck and call of the hourglass, the final grains of sand have hit the bottom. It's done. That's going to be a third. And look, the silver lining is you keep 4 rifles for what will be another rifle round. It's a far from best case scenario, though.
For me as well, like I'm using this word frustrating a lot, right? And so far it's been a very frustrating attack half, right? Like Gentlemates are just not getting what they want to do. FUT are doing very well to disrupt the game plan and cost Gentlemates rounds. The fact that like Gentlemates though leave that so late, after like you can see them trying to mess around with utility and fake out towards the B side instead of going like, do you know what, let's just go and hit towards it. I mean, the Cypher of VCT does so well to just gain the information and get FUT to rotate in quickly.
Strength of Gentlemates' composition does come through those combos, the quick attack speed, as you said before. He's not making the most of it. It's Yetu that they've got to try and get past now.
Oh, no way, Yetuji, he's not able to get one. A captain can't double up, but mates take the clear advantage. That's the big thing. You're looking towards the post plan for main. Look at
Susie, he walked out rafters, and as you mentioned, there is a backstab prepared, and it is Mini that will sink the penultimate blow. One player left, and as good as Zeus has been, as he has played to his strengths well above his player number, it's not enough this time.
It's certainly not enough, but when we have to look towards the next half, what do Gentlemates have to put forward on the defense? We've seen what they're good at, and we'll see how those combos work out. We'll find that out on the next half.
These mushrooms make you feel better. Like, a lot better.
Now FUT onto the attacker's side to close out their map pick of Fracture. The same map which they banned in the previous series, but we've seen them before go back and forth on these ideas. They come in with a 10% win rate, but, and the big but, is both of those previous wins were 13-6 in their favor. So it was little of the attack side that we got to see.
Listen, I am excited to see, though, what the ideas are, the expansive ideas, because we've not seen that. At the same time, though, Gentlemates, they have the tail, they have the breach, they have this oppressive utility that FUT might find stunting towards what they want to do on this attack.
And this is where I then look back towards Cracks as well, to just pick up that thread from earlier in terms of his attack side performances. 5 and 23 on the halves that we saw against Koi. His big value will simply come from being traded amongst this group of players, and you're already seeing it right now. 5 queued up in A main, out the gates they go. Into sand, it starts to swallow them whole. There's Zipan, Mr. Fallen dropping down, and you look to Zeus once again for answers.
He's to try and find something here, something to bring numbers even, but he can't get it cleanly. And there's so many players to try and fight against. Yetishi, I mean, he had an opportunity, but can't capitalise.
Counter stun from Click was huge, and now Gentlemates are right back in this. Another pistol where they look like favourites. Spike down and solo fight. A recipe for disaster as Zipan continues onwards. Only at a captain left, and while he has the molly, it's going to land. That's a start.
That is a start, but still plenty of players to try and get rid of. It's only bought him some time. How long can he really last here? It doesn't look like long at all, as Kamek looks to finish out the round. And again, we've said it before, another Gentlemates pistol.
And a very strong A retake as well.
Yes.
I like the ideas from FUT to try and push that envelope a little bit, get out from sand towards spawn. I mean, we saw Gentlemates do it absolutely tons, but the counter stun from Click. Really nice use of the relay bolt. And the retake simplistic enough in the end.
Keep it up, boys. Let's go!
There you go, keep it up. I mean, this is it seems simple in theory, but in practice it'll be completely different once we get FUT on towards the rifle rounds. As for now, Eco, what's their objectives for this round? We know there's 4 orbs, etc., and plenty of map to try and take.
First off, those goes on to Kada, but FUT can add one back.
I like this from Mates, being proactive, taking orbs away from FUT, taking away objectives. At the same time, though, we're talking in theory. Again, that word comes up. In practice, it's just going to be a sight hit.
One positive is that Gentlemates do have the main space. You talk about push and pull, you need some solid ground to stand upon, and actually this plant looks as if it's going to come all the way in. No Click, snatching away at it at the final second. Kamek right there by his side, but it settles for a 2-on-2, and that doesn't seem to be good enough right now. As Zeus has a Bulldog in his hands, it's a real problem, which Kada shuts down, and Atta follows up on. Pay safeguard Thrifty, and number 9 for FUT.
Yeah, that's another frustrating round, which Gentlemates have let slip. I mean, we saw it on Icebox, they started well, let it go, and that was on the defence as well. I understand what they're trying to do, but they're just giving too many fights to a team that will very happily take them.
No!
Just as I was saying before, vibes so important. You can see an all-time high on FUT as they find a round they would not have been expected to win. The last on the list of objectives, the one you don't expect to hit, is of course winning the round where you come in with all classics. But a big bonus for them. For Gentlemates, just as Kamek put it, one game at a time, one round at a time. This one starting on a sour note as Zipan falls solo in A main.
Looking probably at double digits for FUT, especially since they have so much time, we can tell, to get that spike down.
Gentlemates gambling on this one with Mini's rifle and set up towards B. They have managed to invest a few more grey shirts towards the A side of the map for now, but with the site given over, FUT in prime position to convert yet another round. And well, Mini should just be saving. You're looking to the 3 players in close proximity that have created that perimeter to just see what can be done, honestly, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the test dummy in the car.
Yeah, I think as well, though, like these last couple of remaining Mates players are semi-close, have made decent progress towards the ultimates. So if they go, it's another ulti orb towards them. At the same time, though, that is 2 towards Atta Captain.
Now he has the orbital strike available to use, and that is something which you'll be heavily fixated on if you're FUT or even Gentlemates, to be honest, because in terms of this pre-round call, Mini's had so much time to set that up now. One of his strengths as a leader, we said before, is these defensive setups and how he responds to what it is that the other team is doing. FUT so capable in their own right, though, and these pacier takes, I think, have looked good for them. They're one of those teams that sort of, they either execute in the first 30 seconds or the final 30. There's really no in-between in terms of how they open up.
And we always talk about like explosiveness, right? How quickly they can pull the trigger, send it in. And when you look towards what like the Brimstone brings to that, if they can get the spike down, in fact, they have the orbital strike as well.
Yeah, this is looking like a quick play with the Molly lineup. That should land tower. And I believe Mr. Fallen should be grouping up for an aftershock here as well. So as it drops in, yeah, it's the orbital strike actually, and that gives you even further coverage towards the site. There is one pocket where a player could be caught. That's Mini. He got the cage off beforehand. That'll save him an extra second. And with Kada supporting, the rest of Gentlemates arriving, FUT gonna give this a second go.
Yeah, they're gonna come back and they know about Mini's position, and Mini playing it so well, knows that players need to peek in. But again, this KO gets Zeus another kill. It's like dinner on a plate. Kamek able to get that trade out.
See if they can finish the dinner, because otherwise it's going to be falling on the floor. Atta, one more kill, side of the smoke is Kamek peeking through and finding the final kill in the cleanup mission. The mop comes out, and so they sweep the floor for a 6th.
Yeah. FUT's dinner on the ground, but Gentlemates have the 5-second rule, so it's all right.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to be anywhere near that. This flash was immense. Brilliant utility.
Do you know what's mental as well? This is FUT without the KO buffs, right? What's it going to be like?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the thing is as well, the buff that KO gets is more of increasing the skill floor rather than massively raising the ceiling. So in terms of the implications in pro play, I think we'll have to see. To other agents as well.
I mean, my theory on KO is it's never the player's problem, it's the fact that everyone keeps peeking into the flashes, you know?
I guess so. It's one way of looking at it. Peek or be peeked. Live by it, die by it. Zeus in this round has a scorched earth policy. Light investment of the Outlaw. Trying to go up against what is 4 players with light shields. 3 players, sorry. But
I was counting.
Yeah, never do maths live on broadcast. The fact of the matter is, Mini has heavy shields. He's on the site, and so are the rest of Gentlemates. They are swiftly arriving.
Yeah, there's traps to play off of. Unfortunately, there's many players to try and play against. Kada taking the timing and does so well. Why he managed to go? It's like ships in the night. At the same time, that spike not committed, and Kamek trying to keep a bad chaos. Zipan finishing it out. Gentlemates, they're trying to keep this close and doing well in it.
You know what they say about ships in the night? You're always waiting for the iceberg, and that's Zipan. Comes crashing back into this retake. This was brilliant work from Kada to just shut down that initial push, keep Zeus on a leash. If you allow him to get effective in these rounds, once he builds up confidence, there is little to stop him. To another purchase for both teams. It's Gentlemates with the powerful ults, but you're only one off a null command and a rolling thunder if you are FUT. And so far, they've been given access to those orbs.
Yeah, we've not really been seeing Gentlemates play this defense on the front foot at the same time, though.
Drone's just giving him a tap on the head.
Yeah, Click just being active, taking that main. You can see FUT pinging it out, thinking about coming back in.
Such a difficult position to play as well. You get a late contact. You kind of have to just give it a bit of the mental timing and call the play in at a certain point before you get cleared deep. So utility invested, but that will regenerate later into the round. It's going to be useful fairly soon because FUT are preparing the execute towards B now.
They are, and the kill traps have been changed. At the same time, though, Gentlemates, they're trying to play this on the front foot. Zeus just went by. Kada and Mini combine. One back in the conversation, make that 2. It's all even. Advantage now confirmed by FUT.
It's only one player as things stand. Click still with a full belt can make things difficult here. Keep himself mobile, play in Zipan, but even then, if he goes down, you're still asking for that extra player to find a kill, something back. This post plant is so deep, Zipan's got to go searching and stick his nose in there to try and find something. And with that, Atta Captain in position for this open plant, which now finds a deadly use.
Gotta go.
It's quite thinking about saving here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's respectable considering the economy that's sitting around for Gentlemates. Not a lot. Probably looking at Mini and Kada, maybe on a Bulldog, which we've seen a few rounds, by the way, on this defense.
Yeah, look, there's a possibility for a buy here. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. The big thing for me is the fact that FUT walk away with that round with the investment of sort of minimal ultimates, to be honest. So you've still got the null command, you've still got the orbital strike. I really like the proactivity from Gentlemates. As we said before, you need to be fighting for some space when the execute comes in. And Kada's done a brilliant job of that. But it's Atta finding 2 kills back, which is then, you know, the straw that breaks the camel's back.
100%. Well, we are starting to head towards the crunch time, right? The end of the map. And it's only Gentlemates that have actually been using their timeouts so far, which shows you the game plan for FUT, we understand, has been going well because they're on 11. But they've not been panicking, right? I mean, the second half has been going either way.
And from FUT's perspective too, if there was anything you wanted to improve on from that placement in Shanghai, 5th, 6th, the highest which we've seen from them internationally, it was perhaps that slight gap in terms of micro points and the depth of the strategy, right? And I think at this point in time, building up a solid map pool is a very difficult task, as we know there are changes up ahead as well. But if Fracture is a map which they can, you know, lock down here, make it 3-0, the record since kickoff, you're feeling very comfortable moving forwards. And for Gentlemates, still trying to figure out what their strengths are with this change in terms of, you know, Kamek coming in. Some of his best roles do have slight overlap with Zipan, but at the same time, he's then gravitated towards this Teho and found new life for himself. So it's all a balancing act, really. And well, coming into this one, that's exactly the case in terms of money. Split down the middle, a little bit of everything. Game plan wise, they want to fight off of the B contact of the cam.
Like with a rifle, orbital strike as well. The trap seems to be going well. It's been triggered, but there's capitalization's just not there at all. I mean, Yetage's tried to escape in towards the backlines, but Kamek patrolling that, the Sheriff towards the defender's spawn, and is forced FUT towards the A side, where Zipan stands alone.
Playing this very defensively as well. Top sight, off angle, where he sets up. That 1 kill back towards Arcade was everything, but even the rotation can't come quickly enough.
Needs 1, maybe even 2, but needs to at least get something concrete to work with, and does. It's a 2 versus 2 coming into, if we can get to it, post.
Well, it's a downed KO player though, so it doesn't count for all too much. In the meantime, Kamek able to backfill the space. I don't think FUT are expecting this at all.
I mean, at the same time, Atta Captain's gone searching, so Krax is all alone. Spike in the back pocket. 2 big 1 versus 1s here.
The first of them heading towards spawn. Low HP, both players. Kamek overlooked, and now the spike planted to his position. Atta Captain has the ultimate and a decision to make. Can he call Kamek's bluff? And can Kamek hold his nerve with the ult in his face? It's 4 instead. From Gentlemates' new frontman, firing on all cylinders. The breach bites back for an 8th.
I mean, FUT just assumed that both players will be playing together. Kamek does so well to continue taking the space away from FUT, coming in from behind. And it's a round similar to what we actually saw from Liquid and BBL in terms of both players went for 1 versus 1s. Yes. And it's the attack that lures out. Frustrating, you can see on the faces of the players. And think now, 11-8, things getting wobbly.
Just a little seesawing in terms of the rounds picked up by both teams. That's anything to go by. This should be a shoo-in for FUT, but we know, of course, it's not the case. Mini left to a stinger. That should suffice at close range. It's Zeus running down the line in towards Spawn, not getting out with any more than just the one. It's a complete fake, and mates have fallen for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, and it's the Tejo as well that's lost, right, that utility to clear certain spots out. And as the players come through, it's an even trade, down to 2 versus 2. Kraxus has to commit to the spike.
Second pulse of the neural theft is huge as well, because now they know of the proactivity, and Yetajay's caught in transition. Another 2v2, which is looking like FUT are poised to lose. As much as I said micro was an issue before and that trading maybe had improved, it's isolation after isolation which lends Gentlemates a lifeline back into this map.
A massive lifeline, and I'm glad you used that word, Hazza, because you look towards the ultimate economy moving forward. Rolling Thunder, I mean, the Armageddon's one off.
Landed on the roof.
It's disaster stuff.
It was a nice idea from the strat book for FUT, and you can see obviously they've been working on this map to go ahead and bring it out after having not shown it for a while, but frustration on one side, elation the other.
100%. Looking towards this though, barrier drop coming in, a lot of players lined up towards that A side, and you've got to be thinking they're moving in towards the Cypher setup as well.
It's the stingers though, man. And that's the one thing that I'm ever so slightly worried about.
Yeah, I get that, but you've got a Rolling Thunder that when it comes in will stop that fast fire rate.
Let's see, I mean, Zeus playing parallel to it. It's the stun that goes sand. Mini playing from the site, suppressed, the trap's down, but Kamik still doing his job, supporting as best his efforts he possibly can. A is under lock and key.
Trying to like play around him as well, the defensive smokes, it gives something in which Yetajay could work with, especially with the weaponry that's in hand.
Click already in behind as well, so FUT are boxed in. Going silent on the round. Kada has even joined up with him. Nowhere to go. Time getting low.
Still plenty to work with, you could rotate if you wanted to.
Just see Krax's knife has come back up, so if you wanted any tool to get in, you think about using it or just go dry. That's only ever going to end one way. Mr. Fallen taken down, and Gentlemates now on double digits.
Only the Rolling Thunder needed as well. Half by, you got FUT coming back in with the rifles, etc. But the big thing, they've kept the Armageddon. They've got the overdrive if needed to be aggressive. And FUT are miles off really big ultimates. I mean, maybe the null command for Krax, but at the same time, yeah, I totally understand this. We are going to get a FUT timeout.
You are playing insane. Keep it up. That's
And this is where warning signs start to arrive, because not only have Gentlemates found their way back into this one, 5 rounds from the last 6 played on the defender's side, maybe some of those theories about FUT's offense are starting to come to light with the lack of repetitions in an official environment. And we need them to just refocus a little bit, because the value of their own coaching staff is huge. Of course, Gaius and Sway resigning a new contract last year, confirming that they will be attending this team once more, building upon their previous performances. And you see the relationship between them and Mr. Fallen, the IGL. Often it's a lot of the ideas in the timeouts coming from the coaches directly relate to the IGL. It's then his job to, spread that amongst the team.
100%. And remember, Gentlemates win this map, Gentlemates win this series, and Gentlemates go top of the group. That's how close this is. There's only 1 round between the two.
Dude, let's not. The cursing of Gentlemates has been a little too much before, I have to say. From watching them in the stands back at Ascension a couple years ago, the Coliseum, their lucky charm perhaps, the possibility of back-to-back wins in VCT, something they are yet to achieve as an organization. Only a few rounds away, so long as FUT can't stand the test of which you feel they need to pass if they are to be a contender for Toronto.
Silence across the map. I I mean, Gentlemates are waiting for something to trigger any trap whatsoever.
And it was very loose contact from Click, just playing this one solo, and he's the one player you think that would maybe give it a go, but even then they back up and play full retake with this annihilation, but FUT know it.
Yeah, they do, and they need to be thinking about the contingencies after this post goes down.
Spike plant in, that's the cue. Stun towards tower, Zeus should be dead, trying to run out into a safe spot, and he's actually gotten away with it. Let off the hook. Gentlemates back into the retake, but they still feel confident that they can haul this over the line. Yetajay back in his own stocks. One back in the way of FUT for now.
I mean, right now, though, FUT don't really have much utility in post.
But one thing they do have is Yetajay in tower. Not overlooked, he'll get cleared in the end. Peek out dry, the shots won't land. Finally taken off the defuse by Fallen. The captain has to stand tall in this situation, but it's Kada instead who makes him a dead man. 11-all, that's the equalizer.
And it's massive. All 11 across the board. We will need maximum regulation to finish this out. And Gentlemates have been able to space their ultimates to perfection. This round, absolute carnage. One thing I want to know, how many times have we seen Kamek push out a smoke or something and get a pick completely untraded? He got traded there, sure enough, but I mean, FUT, a team who are so good at trading off one another and being good on the fundamentals, the micro of the game, and they let it go.
Player built on confidence.
After a timeout.
Certainly got the stones. Showing that here. Pistols is what you've got to get past to confirm map point on your opponent's pick if you're Gentlemates. And it's a brawl that's about to break out towards Arcade. The stun to start it off, and dropping in is Click. It's a rifle right at the hands of Zeus. A birthday gift from the birthday boy. But does it get any worse? It's a freeze for now.
See, looks as if Gentlemates want this, but maybe they want it a bit too much. Zipan, though, absolutely spot on. Mini taking and getting rid of that null command. Got a Captain Stinger, just a little bit awry. Able to finish off the kill. A 2 versus 2 as Krax is able to call exactly where these last 2 remaining players are.
For Gentlemates, just when you think you see the light at the end of the tunnel, it's oncoming traffic, a deer in headlights. Taking those jewels on their own terms and conditions. They have Arcade, but that is about all right now. Time ticking down, trading places, knife out at the captain, cuts across him Mini. Only Mr. Fallen left, but this time he's got the ult.
He does have the ult, but he's got a stinger. Long range won't be good for him.
It certainly won't. And Mini makes sure the captain will close for map point. That's 12 for the mates.
Hey, listen, I said it to you. This is prime time, mates. They're looking better and better. With that game yesterday, how Team Liquid and BBL went, the question was always coming into this one, are Gentlemates real contenders for this group? And it seems with this win, if they're able to convert it, it's 100% true. In fact, I would go as far to say favourites to actually go and win it.
Oh,
hey, listen.
They're not a pretender this time. They're not just any team. They're mates.
Listen, guys, I'm looking for Jude.
Okay, all right. Final round of play inside regulation. Can FUT extend this one any further? To the strat book, they go for answers yet again. A cross-map knife, it's not seen it land. Finally, it drops into the lobby. But the dish control here from mates is nasty. And with the setup that they have, the rotations coming through, they've been so quick to react to this. Such a reactive defense.
Remember, that Rolling Thunder still in FUT's pockets if they need to use it.
It's 2 kills back. Without it, not necessary at all. Surplus to requirements. So strike now missing from the play. 2 versus 4 retake for Gentlemates to make their dreams come true in this series.
Been able to do it before. I mean, this time it's going to be far too much to ask. An overtime is required between these two to even push it towards a third map. If Gentlemates can finish it out here.
So we're made to wait by Gentlemates as FUT fighting Sand. Zeus with 3 kills again. It just feels like they're so reliant on his firepower to get through these attacking rounds, finishing with only 4 of them. And now it's back to Gentlemates to try and find a response. I think honestly, it feels like one of those overtimes where whoever wins the attack round, you're then favoring to go ahead and win OT. And for Gentlemates, it's a tough position to start this one in.
100%. There's things to work with, a plan to be made, and it seemed as if Gentlemates, as they got towards the latter stages of their attack, started to look a little bit better, an idea for how FUT wanted to set up, whereas on the opposite side, it felt as if his FUT went on longer. They started to fall apart a little bit.
Yettajay recalling the trap there as he places a cage to get it in. It's spammed out by Gentlemates. That Teho utility right at the start, just to break out any of the Cypher setup. Wipe the slate clean as they slowed this down yet again. But as we know, Cairo, these rounds for mates on the attack, they've been struggling to find those openers.
Yes, that's very true. But it looks as if, right now, Gentlemates, their plan to get that Armageddon online. Already the first orb towards Zipan, now exploring towards A main. Been found out by the 0-point knife.
3 players in the radius of it. What's the reaction from FUT? Doesn't seem to be anything right now. They are pretty settled in terms of their approach, happy to just sit on the control that they currently have. And Mr. Fallen taking matters into his own hands, starting to clear towards Dish as well, confirming there's nothing topside, the body moving over, but B is where the execution's now prepared. With only 30 seconds left, this is the play that Gentlemates have to make.
Yeah, Yettajay's off angle
They're running back.
Massive. The players, they've walked into the crosshairs. It seems to be a fake, but with time so low, Gentlemates could possibly cost themselves this round.
Little bit indecisive, but they finally locked it in.
Look where the spike
goes, but Kamik is back of the pack as you highlight. And so if Atta Captain can pluck him away from the rest of the play, then maybe there's a chance that they can shut down this spike pun. It won't happen, and it's Click again with a second to spare.
Mr. Fallen's coming in late from drop, will able to cut off any rotates back from Click, but instead played in by Kamik, although identifies Mr. Fallen's position and gets the advantage.
With him now posted up in Dish, there's an extra line of sight, a double up in fact.
This is going to be really hard for FUT to try and get through. Mollies, everything for them to use right now, but no more utility. Rifles have to come out tops. Gentlemates in prime position to convert this round, and they'll do it. You said, Hazza, the team to win the attacking round will be in prime position to win out this map. That's exactly what Gentlemates just done.
Feel as if, despite how chaotic the round transpired, Gentlemates are onto a winner by picking up that one. For how dominant the defense was, they drop before the final hurdle. And now another test for them to try and pass.
Yeah. Looks as if FUT may be feeling it, knowing exactly the position they're in. But they're good enough. We've seen it before. We look towards this though. Gentlemates actually being aggressive towards the Dish side. There's players there to try and find towards the other side at Arcade.
Yeah. Neon and Zeus grouping up towards Arcade. I mean, making that change over from the Raze to the Neon. The defense improved, the attack got worse. Seeing it here, it's the round which they need to rely upon. Zeus already in tower, right behind Mini. He's got to take the jewel to the doorstep of FUT. Are they ready for him? Feels like it. Yettajay already landing that first kill still. Mini holding the line, just waiting, wondering when will they peak? And as they arrive, it's the spike that falls. He needs more but can't get it, and so Mates behind by 1.
Zipan, he's done so well, but now it's up to Kamik. He has to try and get something to work with. A headshot, but it's a phantom tax that ends up costing him it. This is getting far too close, man.
It feels so cruel. As the POV is locked to Mini, he's just waiting for the push to come through, but FUT expected that. It's the adaptation. How many times have we seen this reaction from Gentlemates when the B push comes in from Arcade side, that then the follow-up is the protocol to take the main space. They handled it brilliantly, and no mistakes made in the 2-on-2.
I mean, we've seen Mini play in this position so many times with the same cage setup. I would like to see something maybe different on the next round, but focus here.
Yettajay peering through the looking glass, operator in hand, and Kada can almost sense it. The jump strafe for the second time of asking, wide swing, and well dealt with. The antidote on the attack side, and Mate, well, they seem to have found it, because this is looking like follow-up success.
Certainly looks like it. Spike can go down pretty easily. Thought for a minute, with Zeus taking the solo space in towards A main, he might go for a flank, try and put the main players under pressure. Not going to happen. Mate's in post.
Usually you'd be moving into a pretty strong post plant here with the breach and brim towards Arcade, but without a molly or an aftershock, it's gunfights that they're going to have to take, and Kamek has one flash to try and get them back in. But that's about all for now.
Now you've also got tail utility to work with as well. On towards the spike they go. Kamek gets one, Mr. Fallen, and Zeus trying to be massive here, but off of the spike they go, forced off, and Mr. Fallen has to win up against 3. Well, it seems as if what you tried to prophesize has not come true.
Yeah, well, how many times has that happened before?
Hey, listen, mate, you love a caster's curse.
Of course, but hey, it's all entertainment at the end of the day. With the game being played in front of us, it was a really nice setup from Gentlemates, as you highlighted. The salvos were there.
Look at me. Oh, I love you, bro. Keep up.
And between the two, it could be quite the celebration this weekend. Kada's got his birthday coming up on Saturday, so this would be one way to cap it off. And to make sure they just take a touch before they finish off the job, it is a timeout in round number 28, just before it.
That's the thing, though. Right. But they've done it once, can they do it again? I mean, Gentlemates have already answered that, that question. What are they going to do different on this defence? Last time they went through Dish, started to explore towards that top side of the map, seeing if they could try and catch someone off guard, and they were a couple of seconds too late on that.
Yeah, I think honestly, again, it comes down to a lot of these retakes where Gentlemates have been able to ping consistent success on the defender's side, playing off of one another, starting to build up that team chemistry that you want to see from a team that has their goals laid out before them at the end of the year. I mean, any extra championship points that you can take during the regular season are a massive boost for the ultimate goal of qualifying as a top 4 team. But even playoff stages is something we want to be accrediting to them early, where Apex, on the other side, look to have struggled so far with their campaign. It's the task left to them, a difficult one at that, but certainly made the most of it so far. 3rd map point for Gentlemates now.
Dish was explored last time. This time round, they've placed a Cypher trap to gain information. FUT looking to take this pretty straightforward. Going, taking the A site, Zipan and Kamek are the only players there.
And Zipan's position is so struggled here again as the solo site anchor on the Teho. I mean, your work is cut out for you. FUT again exploding onto the scene. Through sand they go. Click will be telegraphed as soon as he breaks the trap. And with main space secured at the very least, they've got something from which to work. And FUT want to take that fight to them.
Yeah, I don't know if they only think it's just a Neon, but there's more than that. Minis here as well! Oh, can't get more than that. And now it's up to Kada, the birthday boy on Saturday. Can he try and get a present to take home early?
Molly.
We'll have to see. Opening one up a little early. Yetu, tick of fire damage. I don't know if Kada would have heard that, but he's certainly looking for the clear here. Time ticking away, burning the wick at both ends. The first of those players is found, but now Kada needs to move on to the spike and get it halved. Hold his nerve in the face of a captain. But with his face check, he finds 14, and so OT goes on.
Round and round and round we go. The 2-round shootout does not stop between these two. FUT is fighting for survival. And as you said, it's been 3 attempts at winning out this map right now by Gentlemates. They've had 3 chances at being the team to win out.
And with FUT, the experience they bring, a core of 3 players from 3 years built upon, with new additions of Yetu and Zeus from year to year, one player change made to improve. These are character building rounds and maps that you will see from them, and the same for Mates, because if they can't close here, then all of a sudden there is serious concern. Moving into our decider, already Zipan chased away from spawn to the A site they go. Little success here so far for Mates, and it is heavily telegraphed.
And the fact that they found Mini as well, This is something that Gentlemates have tried to do a few times, find their way in towards spawn, but instead though, they're going to fight through sand. Put feeling the pressure a little bit.
Yetu's still the solo player on site, and Click trying to isolate that with the neon wall.
Oh, Ghost trades even. Kamek finds a chance to make it back towards an even playing field right now.
Backing all the way up, Fallen finally gives away his location, but the spike can go in, and Kada has managed to jump up to dish as well. This is an acute reposition, and with the Rolling Thunder in, it's his chance maybe to find something off the back of it, but no, falls on deaf ears.
No more utility right now for Gentlemates either.
It is just a fragment on cracks, and that's all.
Rifles, that's what it comes down to. Winning out these fights. Can Gentlemates make it a fourth map point potentially? Stun coming back online for Kamek, but Kada, he's been burned. It's now just down to Kamek to try and clutch a shot! A Red Bull clutch for Kamek! And 15 for Mate. That is a fourth map point for Gentlemates now.
And the Kamek revenge tour is rampant. What a clutch from him. It came right down to the wire, as so many of these rounds have done. But still he sees it through. And so with that, a sixth attack round found in OT, and another opportunity for Mates to finish what they started.
I mean, Kamek was on Team Liquid that was able to beat FUT in that playoff run. That's the other thing to think about. A thorn in the pride of Turkey's side.
Continually coming back to haunt them. Round on round. The setup this time, fairly similar, but there's way more support for Zipan towards main. You've got Click ready to go as soon as the drone comes in, and that's the play.
Like his knows there's many players there. The stun is so good. So is the relay ball. And so is Zeus. That's a double up. Very quickly turning this on its head. And Yetaji's there to get another. It's just all individuals right now. And it's completely collapsed. FUT immediately respond to what Gentlemates got in that last round.
Zeus slamming the rewind button, putting it in reverse and sliding back for the second kill in main. And as Mini makes his way through enemy lines, FUT have this site well guarded. I mean, I feel as if the two halves that we've just watched of defensive play have completely gone out of the window. FUT have found something which works for them. These A splits have looked so nasty, as it's an in-zone flawless this time, and one of the best efforts we've seen from them so far in OT.
I know, I mean, the fact that we just keep going back and forth consistently. There's another thing to think about. We still have timeouts. Some are refresh coming in towards overtime. FUT going to use theirs.
The velocity at which Zeus attacks these chokes at breakneck speed do require a slight intermission, a break in play, and another 60 seconds just to set things straight.
I think both teams will be happy for this right now. Gentlemates and FUT, just to talk things over. The defense just not going well at all. And for me as well, Gentlemates, they had to clutch up their attack round. As for FUT, they slam dunked it.
And I'm glad that you mentioned it too, because as I meant before, you know, FUT have been able to thread the needle on a lot of these A executes. Mates were mostly going B. Whereas that one round, which you say was cut incredibly fine, was the A play. And now the mental game picks up a little bit. What are they going to go for in this first attack round? Because already they've seen multiple map points pass them by, as I'm sure our co-streamers will be keenly keeping track of them. Sue on site and Sleepy online.
I was waiting. Hey, listen, man. Do you know something? You are the biggest, and I'm going to say that you are the biggest like serviceman I've met, you know what I mean?
Hey, look, man.
Shout-outs for free, they're not even paying you, man.
No, I know. I'm paying them. Member of the SWAT. I don't even know. But hey, look, here's what it is. We go again. So this time, it is proactivity wagered by FUT, levied over the heads of mates, and so they'll make their move early. A site is where they go. The stun already invested, but there's still plenty to throw at this.
And look at the kill traps as well that's been set up by Yetaji.
Closer towards the site, into the Fast lane, Atta will go. He finds his first, but it's quickly traded. They're falling one at a time. A slow crawl into a site held. Kamik returning in another overtime round, but it's Mini that must make it stick if they are to find themselves yet another from the offense.
Spike's gone cold. It's all on an island which Mini has to try and traverse. And with 2 players watching over, he'll try and open the door, create sound cues which FUT have to try and consider.
More than anything, it just forces them to drop back onto a deeper line. Mini back to the play. 2 players creeping up from rafters. Timing is everything. Knife, he should know. Dropping off the rope and they're right behind him. Mini needs to turn his head or mates might just have found themselves dead on the attack. But with the respect given from the Turkish team, the spike can go down. But it's that molly in the corner that you have to worry about.
He's tapped it. He's come right back up, repositioning.
Mini knows this is the place he's got to try and play from. 10 seconds and he'll spot it out yet again. Another tap from Mini! Another opportunity! But mates cannot convert their attack round this time. And so FUT, for the first in this series, have an opportunity to close and send us to the decider.
I mean, it's so typical, right? If we actually seen that, the first time that FUT can potentially win out this map, they'll go and do it. The fact that they're able to win their defense for the first time in this overtime is absolutely massive. And you know that the players know it.
You can feel it. The tension palpable between the two. And of course, the consequence of a FUT win here could be shattering for the mental of mates who have done so well to put themselves in good positions throughout. The defense asked of yet again, of course. We did see a timeout before this last OT. So both teams will have talked over what was and wasn't working, and for both, the defense had been an issue. FUT have delivered on theirs. And now mates, it's another B hole that they've got to surmount to.
Just noted, again, Mini not playing for main. In fact, actually starting to head towards that way.
Backing up Kada from the boxes on site. Trap place yet again, that's so cheeky. Mini getting 1, but 1 won't be enough. He needs to find more, and more he will get. Kada played in, but he can't stand his ground. 2v1, cracks will fall. It's Zipan again with a double, and the defense shall stand.
Oh my god, man! They just can't settle. These 2 love brawling, and they're doing that so well. Every single time when we see these rounds go, it comes down to these brawls, these chaotic fights, and who comes out on top.
The trap was so cheeky from Yetu as well to just snatch one back on the re-engage, but as you say, the battlefield bloodied, the canvas clotted, and it's Zipan once more to close out the round. That was the weakest of death slaps I think I've seen so far.
Respectable.
But you see the reasons why.
Frustrating.
And so reset yet again. 33 rounds played.
So much slower. Taking their time. Gentlemates exploring certain parts of the map. Spike is in drop though. That's the one thing you've got to consider here as both players start to move to a more aggressive angle. FUT at the same time, they're starting to explore elsewhere, and there's 2 players here for Gentlemates.
2v2, re-clear in the middle of the round. FUT looking for a fight. Mates giving it to them, and it's Zeus with 2 kills, as always, striking yet again.
No way.
That's the numbers.
Zeus is still alive.
He's managed to keep himself cooped up in main for now. Split up from Fallen, but he can put 2 and 2 together. Kamik, the provider. Can he put up any more? No, Zeus has stopped it. And so it's Zipan. Now, with his chance to shine, how many times have mates got to look for a hero to win them around?
This is what it's starting to get to, right? Gentlemates looking for heroes. And, I mean, this is so out of the realms of possibility. There's no way that Zipan can win this one.
But want to be the villain against another of those Ascension teams that want to solidify that guest slot. Yetu snatching away another round. His setups on A have looked so good, yet Gentlemates are still bashing their heads against the wall here. Zeus gives them a second layer and takes the fight further forwards. It just solidifies what they'd already built on.
I mean, it was such a coin flip though. You know, such a coin flip with that 2v2 in towards main.
Oh my god.
You're really waiting to see how it goes, right? Jesus is always the player that you're going to hedge your bets on. And then the chaos on site, etc. Now, can FUT finally make good on this?
This marathon of a map, the sprints have already been heard.
Gentlemates have done this before, exploring towards Dish, but they never went any further.
No. And FUT have also set up for B multiple times, so this stab in the back could be blindsiding. But there is a trap in play, and that has to be the biggest issue right now. No real way to suppress. I mean, the drone, not in the right position, it's Zipan there. They've got to converge, and they do so effectively. Mini sidestepping the stun, back in for more fights, finding his second Cadder again. This dynamic duo has done enough for the flank to come in.
Oh, Cracks able to finally capitalise, but Kada, the molly finally letting loose. Now, those two remaining players need to try and get something back. Kada's just been seen trying to escape. Now that's why you're seeing Mr. Fallen look towards B main.
Yeah, he is on a solo mission though. Oh, Mr. Fallen! One man, all that's needed. FUT. So close now to the finish line. Kamek, the one that separates them from success on the second map.
I mean, that's the thing though. Kamek has been so good so far. Time and time again, 34 kills so far. Can he get 2 more?
The longest map of EMEA 2025 so far, and it's going FUT's way at the end of the day. A heartbreaking way to crash out of the second one here. For all of the chances Gentlemates had, they just couldn't close it out.
Yeah, 100% has it, and we have one more map to go. We'll find out exactly who's going to win out this series after this quick break.
definition of divine. I feel like a champion. A champion.
definition of divine.
Welcome back, everybody. Everything is going to a third map. What an intense second map that we just witnessed. I'm Kakuka, joined by Tombis and CNED. That was the longest map that we've had so far this year, and it definitely felt like it, Tom.
I really enjoyed getting to sit next to CNED this whole map and just watching him lose his mind as obviously FUT were fighting back and forth. That really was a mental map.
Like there was a lot of misplays, which I don't want to see as a footman. But we managed to win the game, and I'm happy, at least for this map.
Yeah, you feel like you kind of can breathe now, you know, peacefully. But it is very funny because I think that when before we jumped into the map, we were speaking about the record and what we were expecting, for example, to see from the attack on Gentlemates. It was all about the defenses, and then we jumped into the overtime, and apparently it was all about the attack as well. It's very complicated to put a team like FUT in such pressure, but actually on the side of FUT we saw those individuals coming to shine again.
Yeah, we had some truly crazy clutch moments coming out of this game. I think we'll be kicking things off with what was a Cracks highlight, and the guy was just like, this is why we always go like, I want to see this guy on the KO, and people, a lot of the time you'll talk about like, oh, is the role, does it like make sense? Like, could he fit it? And then it's like, bro, just put him on the KO and he's going to pull off rounds like this.
I totally agree. He's the best KO in the world.
Yeah, best KO in the world, but I think that it is also worth mentioning that, yeah, Zeus had an insane round. I remember, you will see it later when we have the second match, I was doing an interview while this happened and I lost everything because the crowd went insane, and this is kind of the play that makes you go insane. You know, we're able now to go on to the third map, but what I was saying about Cracks is that he had not been having the best year so far. Yes, Tom, you're saying put him in the KO, he's going to be good, but actually this year hadn't been like that.
You have to be a true believer in the Cracks KO. That's the problem. Too many people doubted it. It's like when you say like, every time you say I don't believe in fairies, one dies. If you don't believe in Cracks' KO, then he dies in the game.
You just killed a fairy.
You know, it was worth it to prove the point.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that especially with the numbers that we're seeing today, we've also seen on the stage, we see the confidence. And now I think that we just have to move forward. Think about that third map. Lotus, we kind of like briefly mentioned it, but it is where things are going to end. Let's start first with the side of Gentlemates. What can we expect from them on this map?
Well, that's the interesting thing, because I believe since they last played it, that's where we've had the sort of Kamek edition. So it's possible that they're going to switch up the roles a little bit, because Zipan was playing the Breach, and I think since then we've had him sort of swap over and play some of the more aggressive roles. So that's kind of my expectation here, and move him away from, like, move on to the Teo, which I think has actually looked very good for Zipan.
Yeah, exactly. And Sina, since we have you here, this is the composition that we saw FUT play against Koi last week. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is
the CNED comp, right? Like, because whenever I saw comps like this, I went, well, they're running that because they got CNED, but they're still doing it, and they don't have CNED anymore.
So, like last year, we playing very different comp from the meta. I agree with
many
that.
Times.
Many
Did you like the Sage? Did you like the Sage?
Yeah, I like the Sage. Like, but it was working, you know?
There's a before and after players working with guys, I'm telling you.
Like how we can win without initiator 8 rounds in attack.
Wait, I still ask that question. I still do.
Because CNED, I think that's
yeah, can anybody else run that comp?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
I don't think so. From like maybe last year? No, still not. No.
What about this one?
What about this one? Like I think what we were playing Jet last year, because of we were executing and catching off guard and playing like sometimes post plant with that comp. But right now, I think they are still using this explosive. They will use this explosive, I believe, and they add 2 initiator, which can help Jet with this explosive. I think to be honest, it's a good comp. Like, I still jet believer in this map.
Do you think that this is like a one-off that maybe they prepared against Koi because there were some protocols that were very well curated? Or do you think, or are you still a believer that until you lose, you do not change the comp?
Yeah. Don't change the comp until you lose. I still believe it.
Okay, absolutely like that. But now that we got into this third map, at the beginning of this match, we were speaking about the stakes, right? For Gentlemates, at the beginning of the year, we say is like about getting the points, about getting to champs, maybe going to points, avoiding relegation. If you are realistic and you think about your expectations, that is what you should be going to. But if they are to win today, Tom, the tables turn enormously because they would be leading their team with a 2-0.
Yeah, they will have beaten Liquid, who obviously the team that made Martis, the highest sort of team in their group, and then FUT, who would be that second. I do kind of want to spin this though, because I think I kind of want to ask this to CNED. You lose a game like that, was it 18-16, lot of fatigue. Do you believe most players can mentally come back from that? Because that is a rough one to lose.
To be honest, in the second map, like Gentlemates made a comeback, so I think they shouldn't be affect as much as it be. So if I will be in Gentlemates, like I wouldn't.
So you believe in Gentlemates to win this next map?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
I think that he's suffering from what we're all suffering this year. And it's that this Gentlemates makes you believe.
I got him.
No, but absolutely. And for the side of FUT, you were speaking about the fatigue and whatnot. FUT is a team that has a lot of experience in most of its parts. Yes, they have the kind of relief that they were able to win the second one. Fatigue is not going to be a bother for them. Let's jump into the agent select to see if we're going to be seeing changes here. What do you make of that Gentlemates composition, Tom?
I love a Vice. I think especially in this current patch, I think bringing in a Vice, it just gives you so many avenues, especially on C, like entering into that site when you're on that defensive side can be so awkward to play against. I will say you lose a little bit of value maybe on those flanks, like it's going to be down to baiting out the walls and such. You have to be a little bit more of a control on that side, and then running that double controller as well. There's so much delay potential for the defense. I just want to see how it's going to work on the attack.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Sina, because we see a lot of people now moving away from this double controller in Lotus that has been so prominent and that we've seen so much. Do you like it, not like it? Where do you stand in this double control situation?
Actually, I'm a double controller fan on this map because with Viper you
so
can.
Based. Seriously.
Because you can just put pressure one side of the map with Viper, and you can do another thing of the another side of the map. So I like to play in double controller, but like as Tommy said, like this is the I think more defensive comp rather than attack.
Yeah, absolutely. Mini, first time playing the Vice and doing it on this third map. Guys, casters, Haza and Cairo, we just love having you here, so we're only going to give you 3 mappers. Take it away.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to be here, of course, and look, it wouldn't be a decider at the top of the group EMEA without both of these teams taking us all the way down to the wire. And, you know, things come in twos. I think when you see the longest map of VCT EMEA 2025, there's a part in the back of my mind that thinks this one could be over a little bit quicker. I want to know what kind of preparation mates have for this FUT comp that we saw last time.
I mean, we did see FUT struggle a little bit on Lotus when they played it. At the same time though, you could easily see it going either way. Straight in towards the C site where the Cypher is held, and I mean it's Yetiji who's been able to get the kills. Breach here as well, Mr. Fallen doing well, the flash was spot on, and the response from FUT has certainly been that. A 3 versus 1 to finish out the first pistol.
Really shoring up some of these defensive rounds from the end of Fracture onto Lotus now. For the amount of pistols that Gentlemates have been able to pick up, that was a pretty important one.
Yeah, lovely stuff, to be honest. All in all, you can just see the micro in terms of Mr. Fallen and Yetiji playing off of one another, and I think that's the big thing to come out of this round. Gentlemates not finding it easy to just go and hit the site and find the space that they were looking for.
The thing too, with the Jet on Lotus, it is a bit of a throwback. You know, the comp is reliant on having strong openings. So when you are throwing an opportunity at them, you know, going into the Cypher setup, that's when they're probably going to be strongest. So much damage already shedding weight from the Gentlemates players. Zeus's Marshall could have been in for a boatload here, but It falls onto Cracks instead as the rotation's coming in. Gentlemates want nothing to do with this as they've got Kada out on B.
Fade in space.
And you find a plant here, and that's your objective secured in the round, really.
100%.
FUT won a lot of second rounds, but we haven't seen that from Gentlemates yet today.
At the same time, though, you're going to want to finish the round with a round win, especially if you can find yourself extra space, get up close, make it uncomfortable. Utility to work with. You look at Mini, what he has in the back pocket, as well as Kamek, and right now, Gentlemates looking to explore towards that heaven.
Yeah, Yetu has to show some discipline here. He knows he's the solo player, doesn't want to give up his life, as that's where mates are looking to fight, but in through the door go FUT, and they have them boxed.
They certainly do. At the same time, though, Yetu, he's found his timing spot on, perfectly played. Kamek at least gets one trade, but he won't get on towards the spike. And now he's just got a Spectre in hand. Is he saving us for the next round?
Yeah, I think he probably want to die here.
Yeah?
No.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I mean, look, I think he still has money, so he's probably going to be fine. But this round for FUT is just building on what they already have, and as I said, the player to highlight would be Yetu. Mate had the setup for the C-Link retake with the Vice Wall. Their only objective was really to take some extra space for themselves and tie that up with Kamek out on A. Strength of this comp at times is the amount of info that it's got in comparison to FUT when you have the Arc Rose as well as the Horn.
Yeah, this is a big fight towards the A side, though. Gentlemates not really wanting to reinvest. They've seen plenty of utility towards the A side and very happy to just pivot and respond on the C side.
And with B control as well, these rotations should be aided a little bit quicker for them to get over and support Yetu. Cage has already gone up. He's only here with a Sheriff though, and that support can't arrive quickly enough. Yetu has done enough for now though.
Certainly has. Can he get more? No, that's not the case. Now it's in towards getting this spike down. And Gentlemates may have just found a way to settle this.
So good at the C retake so far, FUT. Short-handed by just the Sheriff, and then Kamek lays waste to the rest of the play. Nearly 40 kills on the previous map, and he's made his mark immediately here. He's just not stopped.
He certainly hasn't. 5 right now. Getting that rifle round back in.
And in a system which seems to fit him so well too, because on Liquid, at times it felt like he was sort of picking up the roles here and there that they wanted for him. We all remember the Sage, that wasn't particularly great, but now, you know, on the Initiators, especially the flashing agents, but even the Fade here is looking up to par so far.
Again, this A fight looking to ensue. Gentlemates taking their time before they come straight back out. This time, though, they are the ones to try and fight it. Behind the Viper wall, flashes. In fact, no, they're not going to use any utility. Just going to wait. The Paranoia back in, spot on. It's a quick trade by Click, and Zeus finally found out.
And that's the thing too. Zeus needing to hit shots. Mr. Fallen doing it without even exchanging glances to the players. They drop through the screen. This A execute's going to accelerate. It's a 3v3 on site.
This is a brawl, another one in which we've seen both teams trying to go at it, but it's FUT that's coming out on top. Spike in no man's land. Kamek having to cross 2 players before he can even collect it. He has time to work with, but instead, no, doesn't want to go elsewhere. He wants the fights.
The rotation is great from FUT as well. They have such strong positions to hold the site when Kamek arrives on the scene. He needs another multi-kill here, and it's just not happening. Yetu to shut up shop as the advantage extends further for FUT.
I mean, what more can be said? Comes down to the fights, very well played. And on top of that, this Paranoia is really nice. Click does really well to get the trades out. And after this first initial engagement, you're thinking to yourself like, oh, well, Gentlemates will be able to accelerate quickly. Mr. Fallen does well to get the kills back in their favour.
It's tentative from mates as well, because they are expecting at a moment's notice for Zeus to just appear from the ether and be supported, because that's what they're relying upon a lot of these rounds. And you're going to see it here as well. Trade of the Fade utility. It's B instead, where Mr. Fallen is fighting solo, but in through the door they come. Zeus still alive, wide on the angle, flashed up, and falling down to the hands of Click. That's a brilliant double on a round where mates have next to no investment.
I That's the big thing, though. There is still rifles in which FUT can find a way to win. That's the other thing. And right now, it seems as if they're wanting to try and protect these rifles.
This is a brilliant poison orb as well from Kada to just continually impose the threat. The question mark space separated between B. We've seen the door used by FUT several times to try and link up the play. And between the two remaining defenders right now, that will be the objective, as it's the dimensional drift to separate them. Should be called in, but Yetu's found two, and now there's a chance for Atta Captain.
There's always a chance when there's a FUT player on the other side. Spike collected, and well, that's going to be heard. The steps coming through. Atta Captain taking his timing.
You have to, in this situation, with the odds stacked against you. Atta Captain will try his luck. Throw his hat in the ring. He's walked around the side. That's Kamek Core. The flash hasn't worked out. Atta Captain in control.
A Red Bull clutch for Atta Captain. He took his timing to perfection. He even had paranoia if he really wanted to go for it. But instead, no, it's Click that sets him up with the own flash.
Didn't even really matter because Kamek was committed to the plant, but I completely agree with you. Slight separation. And as the script reads FUT success, it's between the lines that Atta Captain finds the clutch for himself.
How do they not pop a blood vessel like screaming that loud, man? You know
I don't get it, dude. We're up here shouting the whole time about the game. They're only doing it after the round, but still.
100%.
My ult is ready.
Love this proactivity from FUT. Different look. And when there's nobody on the Gentlemates side to greet them, they're just happy to take that space in the orb in tandem.
At the same time, though, you look at the space that Gentlemates are able to grab here. I mean, the Spike's still not really committed as to what they want to do.
Huge
Many players on the site.
They have the info, they had the players, they were blinded, but still FUT are in position.
Oh my
and
God!
One at a time! Oh, linked into a communal grave. Kada has been noted, but it means next to nothing by now.
Yeah, I thought with Kada hanging around in B main, what was going to happen was Gentlemates were just faking out the A site, and you always have that potential when you take A main to pivot into B, but they just went a step too far, and Spike was still nowhere near.
And this is the discussion that we had before about Mini in the mid round. One of the compliments to a successful IGL in those situations is being able to pull off effective fakes, and I don't think that is a characteristic that we can attribute to him at this point in time. You saw what the setup was, right? It was like half in, half out on the A side with the Steel Garden. Kada really just looking to pick up the pieces at the end of the round, but instead he's the lurker who's forced to save.
I mean, that's always the problem, right? Like, at that point, Kada can easily commit to being like a late lurker, an extra layer on top of your post plan. But, I mean, at the same time, you need to make sure that that A site take, if that's what you want to go for, is going to be successful, right?
FUT have certainly showed their protocols here as well, building on that Koi performance, because the you know, they look really well set up. These retakes are so swift. I say retake, it's a fast flood, it's a quick rotation. They're getting players in place because they know that they can't really afford to be challenging Gentlemates once they've set up in post. When you have, you know, double controller with the Viper utility, with Mini's, you know, Razor Vines as well. We got there eventually. The wall, if he's not using it to watch the flank, it's really, really oppressive. So those are the positions you've got to find yourself in.
Yeah, and I think like when you compare the two comps, right, like, and generally the map as well, you look towards Gentlemates, what they're running is something new. They're not necessarily innovating, but they're playing like new agents, etc. And you look towards what FUT are playing, they're playing the same old stuff. You're seeing your Fade, you're seeing your Breaches, Omen, Cypher, right? There's nothing there's nothing new here. It's one of the comps that's been ran for years, and the point that I'm making, the point I'm getting to, is this is something FUT will be used to. This is something they've been playing for years, and it's probably the same protocols that we've been seeing for many a year, right? On Lotus.
It's classic comfort and it's classic FUT, I think.
Yes.
You look at every single player here, from top to bottom on FUT's side, and I would probably say that's like their favorite agent, with the exception of Krags on, you know, like the KO, for example, right? So that's the approach. Gentlemates should be aware of it. As you say, they are running something a little bit newer. There isn't a Teho there, of course, in terms of current meta, but like the Vice pickup is really strong, and to be honest, your winning conditions do kind of stem from that defensive half a little bit as well, to be honest. So I think that's something we'll have to wait for, but we saw from that game yesterday, BBL Liquid, like, things get out of control very quickly, and after that laboured last match, where's the mental at right now? Especially for a player like Click, who takes a fight like that, and that's all you get in the round. That's your involvement.
At the same time, though, I mean, Click did have a pretty good sheriff round the other round, right? Like, I mean, maybe they're just thinking, right, let's see if I can try and get something from it. At the same time, though, Gentlemates have scaled up really well on this A side.
They have the space, and they need to be diligent to just clear, you know, maybe towards pit, at least check that nobody's going into upper. That's exactly what they're going to do. One-way smoke, in for the kill. Yetijay's got his back to it. That was the chance for Kada.
Hello? This is just dashed right in, although gained the information and a kill. Again, it's another lurker player who's going to be late to the party. And, well, FUT know everything that they need to know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a full stick, so it doesn't really matter. And to be honest, I think the main takeaway from the round here is that Gentlemates understand what they need to do to inhibit FUT coming back into the site later on. I'm speaking specifically about that control upper and then being able to just drop in and support the anchor, whoever that is. It's a slight variation, I guess, in the fact that they were conceding the space fully. I mean, Yetu's playing all the way back this time as to not get caught on a common angle by a sheriff. But there are ults into this next round. This is a huge round for both teams. More so for Mates.
I mean, that's it, right? FUT are in the driving seat. Cruise control is on. They don't need to necessarily worry about the next couple rounds. But at the same time, wanting to get this done as quickly as possible. Taking their time, though, Gentlemates have went for a full default. The Scooby-Doo round?
Yeah, we'll split up and look for clues or orbs in this sense. Click with the tap, TP's away, and of course it is Zeus to fill that void.
I mean, that's it. Responding to the push and pull of the map.
A little light on A, so I think Cracked has to be careful in how he plays this, and already you can see him go up the rope and concede the space. It's the same setup from the defenders yet again. Mates will be aware of this in the gun round. Can they bring some fresh ideas to the table?
Nightfall. Clear in the backside. Players trying to get out towards heaven, and Click's done so well to get a double here.
And that's exactly what you've got to do. No one's played pit the last few rounds, so Click stepping up to the plate has 2 kills, which now set them up.
Looking to burn Click, making him play on site, try and waste a little bit of time, and they're trying to spam him out. You can see that, but he's got a timing, and that's 3 in the round right now. He's done so well and put Mates in a prime position. There's no way that they can lose this, and this man right now on for the ace, stolen by Kada. It will be a double up of rounds for Gentlemates.
Yeah, Kada blowing out the birthday candles before.
Yeah, mate, it's mine. I'm having that for Saturday.
Yeah. Before Click can get near it. But it's what I went back to saying at the start of the round. Like, for as much as Gentlemates had pressured upper in the previous round, there was nobody pit, and it's that slight little variation which finds the opening for them.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, you look towards Lotus and side buys, etc., etc. Gentlemates typically are better on their attack. That's the one thing to note. But the other thing is, FUT are typically better on their defense, right? So there's always that chance when sides swap over. Gentlemates need to give themselves a lifeline to work with in this next half.
They're starting to work on it, see a site which they have struggled with, not in terms of taking it, but defending it once the spike goes down. It's the Rolling Thunder invested this time, as Mr. Fallen looks to make a play off the back of it, profit off it can't. Kada with one onto Yetijay. Mates trading out effectively here. Numbers in their favor as Fallen still stands on the other side of the site as it begins to collapse. The smoke is up, but the spike's not down. Oh, you just saw it coming! You saw it coming! Kada's dropped and the pit goes with it. Gentlemates will make an exit.
Gonna be forced out. Embarrassed. It's really unfortunate. Things just not going your way. At the same time, though, they're being given plenty of space here by FUT to get that spike down.
Cover going out.
And the huge difference this time is that you can set up your A post plant however you like, because you know that this one is open for the taking.
Arc Rose will eventually come online for Mini. That's the other thing to note.
And this is such an open plant too, planted on the corner. So, you know, Mini could be back so far as Hobbit, or taking those extra steps forward to fight FUT.
As the Arc Rose doesn't want to use it, would rather play heads-up gunfights, and would just goes and wins it. Third on the round, and 3 for Mini. I mean, they're getting there. They're finally getting there.
They are fighting back as they did on Icebox. This was a bit of a chaotic one. Gentlemates required a little more security for the spike plant to come in. Brilliant job from Krax again on another agent, which, as we said before, he plays so well. The pit drop ultimately settled the fate of the CXEC. But I really like the idea that they just say, you know what, we're going to go into your sport. That's where we're fighting you this time. You know, screw playing post. This one's off the wall.
Steel Garden could be used. FUT playing on the front foot. Trying to go and force Gentlemates, force a reaction towards the seaside. Is it something that Team Liquid were doing against BPL when they knew that they were very reactionary?
You have this B main control early, but there hasn't really been any pressure from Gentlemates outside of A. So already FUT have an idea where the execute's going to be headed, and with Kamek falling, it is all eyes on the C choke.
Steel Garden being used. All it will do is buy time to get this spike down.
And look at this ult from Captain. He's right behind them as Click looks to move into Waterfall. He can't find the jewel.
But at the same time though, Gentlemates are really taking their time getting this spike down, worried about whether FUT are going to come straight back in. And it's allowed for them to settle and get in towards this retake position.
And now Zipan with the paranoia partnered with Click. An opportunity again for him to look for a fight. Still, mates without blood on their hands, down by a player, FUT in position, no ground has been garnered. Click finally on the score sheet in this one as he opens his account into the corner. The flank is dealt with, mates doing a decent job, but Decent won't quite cut it as Krax and Yetajay have made their way back onto the site. It's Kada in the corner, he steps to the side and finds yet another kill. A clutch asked of him this time, and he's just about gonna deliver.
Yeah, he does it on time, managing to waste Krax's. And well, that will be for a Red Bull clutch coming through from Kada. Very well played. And still, Gentlemates keeping this momentum going. That is now 3 in a row. They've been able to space these ultimates, but I do ever so worry that with Gentlemates being a little bit more, not necessarily hesitant, but being, I guess, taking their time, diligent in their approach to getting this spike down, that they will get caught off guard. And we've seen that a few times on the seaside.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, mates finding a few more rounds here. It does kind of worry you for FUT's attack as well, with how reliant they were on Zeus before. Into the anchors that they possess, but like, look, why should you be concerned with what Zeus is doing? That's his own business, and right now, it's the killing business that he's in. Gun for hire, gets 2 kills. And so Gentlemates are right back to the drawing board. This round has been fully reset.
Seen them in times, maps before. They've been able to fight back in. I mean, they won a 2v4 in Fracture, for instance. But as for Lotus, I've not really seen that. Krax is coming through with a deadly prowler that'll identify what they're looking for, trying to force Zeus out, but it's not a fight you really want to be taking. The paranoia hasn't hit. The dash is a complete misdirection. Krax steals the ace. But the most important thing, an in-zone flawless and FUT guarantee, oh my god.
They guarantee the round, Cairo.
No, an advantage in the next half.
Well, that also works pretty well. For as noisy as those FUT players are, this Bulldog has bite as well as bark. Huge quad from Zeus. And a confidence builder coming into the final round of the half, because as we said before, 7 might not be enough. We just have to see what it is that Gentlemates can bring to the second set of affairs. Cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, it's the dimensional drift to start paving the way towards the seaside.
But look, right now, there's a potential trap that could be triggered. There's a breach, there's an omen, but instead, they'd rather wait. No, they're going straight in.
Yeah, well, it's an A setup which they're heading for. Right? It's literally just Kamek left here to try and sell it. And finally, it feels like Gentlemates might have been able to pull off a fake, except this time it is right from the spawn barrier.
They're going into the Cypher setup.
Arc Rose doesn't catch on to anybody, and so Krax has a strong angle from which to play. The paranoia cutting up The site itself unsupported. Cracks, standing his ground on an island. They fall around him. Mate's body's on the floor, just setting them forth into the second half.
I have the spike.
FUT, the 8th round within touching distance for them. Kamek all but separates them from that success. And as clutch as he has been, Lotus is a different story.
It is, Hazza. When you look towards how Gentlemates have played this attack, they have struggled. But as they move on towards the defense, what is going to be different? We'll find out after this break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
I love coming to the Hard Rock because it's a home away from home. We play slots.
Each of these teams with a pistol round to their name on every single map, but now FUT with the opportunity to take both and land the killing blow on Gentlemates' defense. It needs to start strong as the advantage sits firmly with the Turkish side on their road to Toronto.
Yeah, but remember, the one thing to note, the last time that FUT decided, but we're attacking on Lotus, it was a 9-3 half. That won't be enough here.
Certainly won't. 3 rounds just doesn't cut it. It keeps you shy of the end goal. A similar half that we saw on Fracture, where mates trailed by 4 rounds as they do here. They bounced back, but even in overtime, it wasn't enough. All of those map points go missing. But what does it mean for them? The 2 group leaders shall soon be separated. As you can already see, FUT queuing up outside of the C site. Spike through the middle of the map. No B main control taken. It's going to be all 5 players in Zipan's direction.
Needs to be careful. Does have a TP to get out.
Send a couple stray shots through the smoke, but now the call should be made to drop back. There is no Sentinel here to support him. The stun, not quite enough, gets around the corner.
A little bit of discipline, doesn't want to go any further. But Yetiji through the smoke grabs Kada.
Such a cheeky kill, but could make all of the difference into the retake. The next smoke player drops, and that's the more mobile of them. FUT finding all of the kills on this final pistol round of the series. They might just have won both on Lotus, and with that, where do mates go? What do they do? It's an in-zone flawless.
How many times have we been speaking about FUT grabbing in-zone flawlesses? The other thing to note, though, not to be that negative guy, out of the 3 rounds that FUT were able to win last time, one of them was the pistol round, and one of them was the anti-eco plus, and that's the only thing I'm going to say.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going to drop the grenade and walk away.
By the time we get to double digits, who knows? Can't say goodnight after the bombshell that you've dropped just yet. There's still more left to be played. The program yet to end. A professional performance queued up by FUT. The A fight is where it goes down early. Classics all across the board.
Marshall not standing the test. Krax's Bulldog certainly is now as FUT begin to continue to fight towards A. Spike is here though, and if they do want to go elsewhere, have to try and get out cleanly, which they'll be able to do.
But have been very good on their anti-ecos. And I think as well, it kind of brings me back to that conversation in terms of the duelist. I mean, Zeus currently absent from the round, but you think of a player that's really good, a Turkish player like that, you think of Comeback, right? And I think you then draw similarities between him and CNED, whereas Zeus is a different kind of duelist, someone who, you know, we saw come up through challenges there. Mini first responder, the decay is temporary, and there's little permanent damage. I mean, barely a scratch on Mr. Fallen.
That's the thing. Well, Gentlemates going to try and deny orbs here as well. I mean, that's just going to allow for the bonus to be more heavy in the next one, right? At the same time, like, that's the kind of the idea, the question that you dance with.
And all it's going to take is one big moment for FUT, and you feel as if they can close this in a much better position than they were against Koi, of course, because, like you say, while the attack wasn't great there, that was the first half.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're on the second half now. They've got a few maps under their belt already, and you can certainly see it reflected in the server. Atta Captain adding number 10, 3 rounds away for FUT.
Yeah, and I think as well, when you look towards that map as well, very top-heavy in the scoreboard, you've got to remember that.
One difference I would highlight already, though, in terms of what we saw against Koi, is that you didn't really see FUT want to go for those fast C plays at all because they were concerned about the Sentinel utility, those Razor Vines that I was talking about. Mate's actually setting up more towards A with that as it stands, you know, both anchors when you consider the Viper as well. It's a very default defensive setup here from Gentlemates, and so FUT need to get to work and find out what exactly it is that lays behind these smokes.
And they also FUT don't want to try and walk into any traps or anything like that, taking their time, dotting their I's and crossing their T's.
Yeah, you've seen as well, Yetajay use that same cage lineup that he did in the previous game to make sure he can get the cam out and it can't be pre-fired on sand. But still, Click is resolute in position with Zipan supporting, but they've got to get their running shoes on pretty soon because the A play tested, not fully called. Actually, this is going to set up even better for B because it's a shorter rotation.
Says, well, Mr. Fallen has taken a lot of space as well. Players swinging out, trades to be had, and well, it's all about getting that spike plant eventually. FUT not happy with how comfortable they could possibly be on the site, so they're taking their time, tapping the spike, baiting out peaks. As we said, dotting their I's, crossing their T's, and paying attention to the finer details.
Yeah, and FUT now have great space towards Hobbit as well, so there's a crossfire set up for the players trying to get out from upper.
No, as they come out, they walk straight into the crossfire. That will be 11. They're getting one step closer. This is not the same FUT that was playing against Koi. They know exactly what mistakes they made on that map, and they've made better of it.
Taking a little bit longer to warm up today, maybe caliber of opposition a factor, but one thing you can say for certain is that in situations like this, they have handled things with due care. I really like the reposition from Zeus late into the rounds to just confirm it. Dude, they are absolutely loving it!
Oh, of course, mate. I mean, that's it. The vibes in the team look great. Well, as for Gentlemates, maybe not the same. Having a timeout, wanting to talk about things. And one thing that I'm going to say here, Hazard, Gentlemates, while they have looked good and they have nice ideas, they definitely seem like that team that's a work in progress. One for the future.
And just looking at the buy here as well, already those cards have been shuffled a couple of times. Going around the deck. I mean, before the HUD came up, I saw 5 players with a Guardian in their hands. Now it's looking a little bit more balanced. I think the coaches have kind of said, like, I've heard a few coaches say before, oh, I banned my team from playing Guardians on certain rounds because, you know, it's very hit or miss. So 5 players, you know, reading for the same hymn sheet there, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, they've gone all in on this round. There is barely any residual.
They have to, right? And at the same time, as a way of countering that, we've actually seen Yetajay bring out the Outlaw.
It's going to be pretty effective with 4 of the 5 players on Gentlemates in striking distance. A couple of times the Cypher's brought out the Sniper. Posted on C. Does Mini dare give him the time of day? You wouldn't think so.
Already though. Ellie pick coming through. Zipan getting rid of Zeus, a big one to get rid of, firepower, etc. And being able to defend the A side. With that, a quick pivot towards C.
It's an upgrade, and it's also for pushing into the setup.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Need to be careful of the reposition. Many should know this, but it takes a step too far. Allows that C site to be completely open by Atta Captain.
It's a bit of discipline here from FUT. They're not overstepping the mark as the Nightfall gets invested. Just making sure they can play this one comfortably, and well, the tether landing on 2 players means that Atta Captain has a free kill almost effectively, but I mean, he's just fighting out solo. Atta Captain, nearly the one that gets the ace, as it's another 4K from a FUT player, which has put them on map point.
I mean, that's the thing. How many times have we seen 4Ks, near enough aces, and FUT every single time close to an in-zone flawless?
And it's a different player every time.
Exactly.
It's not exactly like you point the finger at one of these guys. And look, while it hasn't been the Zeus show on the final map, it's surplus to requirements. The system that they're playing is setting up the rest. Crack's delivering on all fronts, where we've spoken so much about his kill contributions perhaps lacking before, but you're looking at him on an attack side now, just shy of 20 kills into what could be the final round.
Looks like FUT are trying to make up for lost time in that last map. It's crazy how close this series could have gone, right? Could have gone either way 4 times.
Atta Captain again. Into spawn this time, player close by. That's going to be Zipan, and he'll win the duel at the very least. And yeah, FUT dropped all the way back to a much deeper line behind this smoke. It's Click's time to shine, and he's only going to get 1. 1 is not enough.
Need far more than that. Quick
from
pivot,
that position.
now into B. Mini standing alone in the middle of sight. Goes through the wall, but walks into Mr. Fallen. Able to win that fight out, but Cracks is able to carry now into a 1 versus 1 on map point.
This has been his map so far, his series, dare I say. And so it's the Swede that must save Gentlemates at this point in time. A full utility belt to work with back into the retake. And Ola, he wants to go so far, but instead it's Cracks that'll take the fight to him.
It's a 1 versus 1, which Cracks will win. And FUT winning the series. Top of the pops, top of the group. And well, what more can be said about this FUT roster?
That they finally started to rekindle the form that we expect of a team that always takes that second Masters spot of the year. That is the pathway that they've built right now, and the cornerstone Cracks of this team coming up with 22 kills. But you feel as if it all spins back to that second map of Fracture, the longest we've seen in VCT EMEA so far this year. And with Gentlemates failing to convert on multiple fronts in OT, that is ultimately the mental boom, I think, which makes it so difficult to retake coming into this decider.
Yeah, I think it could have gone any which way really in this series. And not only that, right, you think about that map, but you think even further back, like Ecos, rounds where Gentlemates would find themselves in advantages, right? Excellently played, but at the same time, you've got to be there to win it. You've got to be able to win it, and FUT played magnificently today.
FUT take their place on the stage and rake in the applause from the adoring fans who have come out today to support them. Turkey has a team to be proud of, and one that sits top of the group as things stand.